Whoa! Hello and welcome to the PTZOptics live show from the NAB show floor.
Yeah, we are day 3 of NAB 2019, streaming from booth C3326 if you're at the show, and we are with the one, the only Tom Sinclair of Eastern Shore Broadcasting and the Streaming Idiots.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, guys. Thank you for such a warm welcome, and thank you for having me on the show today, even though I was on this chair a little while earlier doing the Streaming Idiot show, and we were here last night doing a streaming show on the Streaming Idiots meetup at NAB, and thank you so much for letting us use your booth on that, and sorry we trashed it so badly. We had Dan Sinclair, the banana guy over there, who apparently had a big night. We found him under one of the tables this morning. He was still here from last night, so what a party. Holy cow.
Yep, and we're happy to have him. We were taking selfies with him earlier.
Tom is talking about Dan, the banana that was left behind right here.
There's Dan.
He likes to come and have fun. We've been trying to keep him under control over here. So, Tom, we've been working together on a couple awesome new projects I wanted to bring to light, specifically for churches and live streaming. And Tom actually helped us partner with vMix, along with Magewell and XKeys.
Yes.
And we are putting together Tom has built a custom PC computer that some lucky church is going to win.
Oh, man, it is so cool. I can't wait for somebody to get it and play with it. I almost didn't want to let it go. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fast, it's sleek, it's got some lights, so it's got a little bit of bling with it. And we've got to do a little bit more work on it. We got to put the Magewell card in it.
Mm-hmm.
The finishing touches.
And put the vMix license in it. But somebody, some wonderful church somewhere is going to get this rascal, and they're going to be able to live stream and either start live streaming if they aren't already, or definitely upgrade their live stream because they're going to have PTZOptics cameras.
Oh, and I should mention this. So not only are you going to get the custom computer that Tom has built, which is based on the vMix Ruby system.
Yes.
But you're going to get 2 cameras, which are completely controllable in vMix with the vMix, I think, professional license. And you're going to have 4 HD-SDI inputs with the Magewell capture card. So it's pretty much a complete solution. Plus, XKeys is giving away a control surface. It's really going to make it easier for the volunteers that we know so many churches rely on on the Sunday services.
That's going to be so cool.
So I believe there is a week or 2 left to submit a video.
Friday is the end.
So there's a week left.
A little bit more than a week left.
A week left to submit a video. Under 5 minutes, you can find that on churchgiveaway.com or ptzoptics.com/giveaway to submit the final entry for that.
Yeah, so we're going to spend the better part of next week reviewing all of these entries and choosing one. You know, before many of our other, the winner will be announced, actually, I think Good Friday.
Oh, what a cool time to announce.
Yeah. So it's the day before the weekend of Easter. And we are going to announce the winner. We might do it the Thursday, depending on if our office is closed. I would have to figure that one out.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
Holy cow, that's a week from day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's coming up.
Man, don't wait. Get your entry in now.
And we have a lot of
with a really good video.
Yeah. So the point of this was actually Tim Vandenberg really wanted the winner to be someone who really needs it. In giveaways in the past, we've picked a random winner because that kind of doesn't leave any judging, and it's very fair in that way. But Tim really wanted to go through all of the winners and make sure it's the person who wins really needs it.
Wow.
When you're giving away so much product, I mean, I totally understand why we're doing it this way, just making sure it goes to a good, well-deserved home, and we're really looking forward to reviewing those videos.
Well, and I'm looking forward to whomever you guys choose, because I get to work with them. And I love
us review the videos. Maybe we should divide and conquer.
Well, why don't you narrow it to 5?
That's what we're thinking. If we narrow it down, and then we can.
And then we'll let Tim look at them.
Yeah.
And Dan at XKeys, and Daryl at Magewell, and maybe we can come into
team effort.
Yeah, because I mean everybody's had a part in the process.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I'm looking forward to working with that church, helping them train their volunteers, helping them get the system installed. There are few things I enjoy more than being able to do that with them. It really is a treat for me.
You're a great teacher too.
So let me ask Tom, because I do think that's an important part of the whole process is that, they're not just going to get this equipment and not
Right.
know what to do with it.
Right.
Tom, you're going to follow up with them. What are some of the things and some of the tips and tricks that you, in the beginning here, when you're working with a church that's got a brand new live streaming system, what are some of the things that you try to help them understand? Because I think a lot of the time it's a lot of understanding.
It really is. And it's a huge undertaking to go from wherever you are, whatever it is, to a 2-camera shoot. I mean, it really is. It's a steep mountain. And one of the first things I want to do is kind of let's get our expectations in check. We're not going to be a polished, perfect production right out of the shoot. It's just not going to happen. So let's incrementally get better a little at a time. Let's give ourselves permission to fail and permission not to do it right. Let's link the rest of the church into the process so they can cheer you on as you have successes. And little things like, and every church that's live streaming needs to do this. You need to make sure that the members of the church understand what's going on. People are down on what they're not up on. And let's say that, God forbid, somebody's in a witness protection program, or their child, there's a terrible divorce going on, so that the mom has had to run off with the kids or something crazy like that. The last thing you want to do is put that person in the live stream.
Of course,
Yes.
yeah.
So let's get those things aired out and discussed so that everybody knows where they are. We've had one church that put a little line across the church and said, if you sit behind this line,
Clever.
you won't be on the live stream.
Yeah.
So the entire church moved back behind the line. But,
there
but
was
nevertheless.
speaking of that, something that I wrote about in my book and something that we have at our church in Westchester is that there is in the bulletin, it says that, please be very clear for someone new walks in that we live stream the 9:30 service, not the 10:30 service, not the 11:30 service, just the 9:30 one.
Right.
So that if someone really is very uncomfortable, they can know just skip that one.
Right.
You have other options.
Right.
Some of the other things that I think is a great tip in that regard is to ask for volunteers in the bulletin. So as
Sure.
you're explaining, hey, we live stream this one service each week, and if you have a young daughter or son or cousin that's interested in technology, we actually have a place where they can come and learn. And I think that churches should really, some churches aren't doing a good enough job or what they could do, asking simply for volunteers, because you never know when one volunteer leaves you and then you wish
sure.
you had that backup volunteer.
Sure.
I've also talked to some churches about bringing on too many volunteers sometimes because they actually becomes a very fun and interesting program for the youth to be involved with. And so some churches that I've talked to actually have a stand-in policy, meaning that if you want to join the club, if you will, the tech people in the back, you have to stand in and be kind of a ghost. And you have to watch, and you have to be dedicated to come each Sunday and just look over the shoulder. And the thought process there, if you're doing a good job as in the church media tech department, I think you're probably asking for volunteers, or at least the word's getting out that there's some opportunities for younger folks or anyone really interested in operating the technology. And what I've seen is that through that process of kind of being a fly on the wall for a few months, they get to kind of say, when I see the camera operation, that's something I'm interested in. And that way, whoever the leader of the technology department is can place their volunteers in places that they'll thrive in. And so they can make a better decision about because I think for a lot of volunteers, they're not sure what place they can play in the overall production. Do they have an ear for audio, or are they really good at tracking the pastor as he moves across, with the remote controlled pan tilt zoom camera, for example? So there's a lot of different options for people, even if it's something as simple as running a cable each Sunday or helping with the breakdown and setup. There's so many different things, and determining the right role for your volunteer, I think, is something that a lot of churches can excel in.
I agree with that. It's funny with volunteers. A lot of folks are reluctant to put themselves out. If there's a general call, come, anybody that wants to come be a volunteer. And my tendency would be to say, well, I'm probably not qualified. I don't know as much as they know, so I'll just wait. And so I really think whoever the coordinator is for this really needs to kind of step out a little bit and track some people down. And because there's always somebody there that is reluctant but has the necessary skills. A lot of former TV folks, former radio folks, people that have got experience in the field may think, oh, well, this is live streaming. I don't know anything about that. But they've done the piecework behind the scenes, the directing or the switching or managing audio. And they know about that, and they can bring that to the table. But sometimes those folks have to be asked. And the person that generally knows about that is going to be the pastor or the priest or the head minister in the church. They're going to know backstories on a lot of the congregation. Yeah. And so for that coordinator to sit down with the pastor and say, give me the hit list. Give me the top 12 people that I need to talk to about this. And in fact, maybe give me the top 12 people that I should ask about this for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. But it's always fun to work with volunteers. You never know what you're going to get. You always have somebody that surprises you and does much better than you expected. And that's always skewed. This Las Vegas air is amazingly
it's
dry.
Been tough. And I've had a runny nose from it too. I think getting a little bit of dust up there.
So there's another topic regarding church production that I wanted to talk about, and it's really just the benefits of live streaming. Now,
yes.
For churches, there's so many, so I'd like to get your opinion on this. Let me throw a few out there that I hear a lot about.
Okay, I'm going to rate them as you say them.
Because I've talked to churches about accepting online donations.
Yes.
And increasing, what the church can do online. And I find that that's generally kind of a secondary, thought. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. But I think that churches can not only increase first-time giving quite a bit, because a lot of these people have never been to the church yet. They're church shopping. But I think that that's one thing that is interesting to talk about, but it's not a top priority a lot of times.
I agree.
I think what the top priorities for a lot of churches are not even reaching new members, but reaching shut-ins and those who have been members for the church for a long time, who, for whatever reason, whether it's traveling with the sports team for their kids or reaching, those who are homebound for whatever reason.
Absolutely.
And so it's more about serving the community already.
Absolutely.
That they have, less about possibly growing the community. Although I have talked to many pastors who do want to reach the youth, younger generations, and grow the entire congregation as well.
Well, here's the deal, Paul. You can do all of that. You don't have to pick and say, oh, well, we only want to do this part of it. I mean, I think it is so very cool. If I were 85 years old and I couldn't make it to church anymore, but I'd gone to that church all my life, and suddenly I can't get out of bed, I am feeling so removed from a big part of my life. And, well, you're not going to change that and put me back in the pew, but at least you're going to give me a little taste of what's familiar. And the kids that I've watched grow up, I can watch walk down the aisle, as teenagers or whatever it may be. I can still feel a part of the process. For the mom or dad that's deployed overseas, they can have a taste of what's real and what's normal. For the mom that's home or the dad that's home with a sick child on Sunday morning, they don't have to miss out on the message, and they can be up to speed with everybody else. For folks that are traveling to NAB, for example, they can catch the Wednesday night service tonight if it's live streamed. And so they don't feel like they've missed out quite so much. And I think so far as the health of the congregation, the health of the membership, it really can be a big factor in that. Now, I do think it is a significant way of approaching new people. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna lay out my plan. Here's my plan. Get out your note card and your pen and write this down. Number one, Facebook. Everybody hates Facebook. Get over that. People are on Facebook. Your church needs a Facebook page. You need to make sure everybody in your church is liking your Facebook page, number one. Number two, everybody brings their phone to church on Sunday or Saturday or Friday night or whenever they go to church. Everybody turns off their phone, or you're supposed to, before the church starts. But before you turn it off, check in. Check in. Everybody wants to know what kind of church will accept Paul Richards. They want to say, Paul Richards is going to church? Oh, my gosh. What church would take that guy? Gee whiz. So what do they do?
I'm glad you said it, because I was going to pull that joke out if you didn't.
So they want to see what kind of church, so they go to the church's Facebook page. Well, if the church happens to be live streaming at that point, not only can they go to the page and kind of see what's going on the page, but they get to actually go inside the church virtually and see, hey, is this a safe place? Is this a place where I would feel comfortable? Would my kids be welcomed here? Are there people like me that are here? And so they can get a feel for that. They might even get a part of the message that Sunday, and it might be a part of the message that they really need to hear. And so suddenly they've gone from somebody that says, I want to see what church would have Paul Richards, to instead receiving a message that gives them hope or peace or joy or whatever the message is for that particular Sunday. And then they say, I might have to visit this place. And after all of that is done, then the donation button makes sense. But until then, I think you got to be willing to give to those folks, whoever they may be, before you can say, click the donation button and send us a few bucks.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah, and when you check in to your church and all your friends see that you're there, they can click on that link and they see a window into the church.
Yes.
I think a window is a good metaphor, because that is what you see. It's almost as if you're looking through a window and you're seeing right into the church right now. You might even see your friend that just checked in there.
Yes.
So it feels a lot like a window, but I think that one of the things I've written about in my book, Helping Your Church Live Stream, is that it really can be a bridge if it's done properly. And that's what you really want. Like, a window is okay, and you peer into the window and you decide whether you want to go through the front door.
Right.
But there are ways for pastors and church media teams to turn it a little bit more into a bridge. And that is certainly something that I don't think many churches are doing today, but it's possible to do a few things. One is to realize that if it looks like a window on Facebook, how can we help new viewers, people new to the church, just get a feel for what they're going to see before they get right into the church? Like, for example, there's a church in Westchester that we talked to about this, and they're the Church of Science, Christian Science Church, I believe. And so a lot of people think it's Scientology, but it's not. It's just a church that incorporates science in a different way that most people wouldn't understand. So for them, one of the tips that they learned is if they can show some slides to briefly, teach people a little bit about what they're going to see before they jump right in, they can get rid of some of those maybe misconceptions about the church before the pastor even gets on, because the pastor's not going to cater his sermon to new viewers on Facebook. He's
Right.
going to cater the sermon to his congregation, clearly. But there are some ways to think about this window and how can we make it a bridge, and know that there's going to be possibly people who are unfamiliar with the church watching. So can we start them off with some little bit of education? And I've never actually seen a pastor do this, but I wonder if they would answer some prayer requests from a Facebook chat, for example. I have
Excellent
certainly
idea.
spoken with pastors who will go back to the comments on Facebook and respond.
There you
And
go.
I think that is something that's really important. I think that a lot of the older folks, just in general, that are using social media forget that these are real people. Sometimes you think, oh my gosh, we got 56 comments. That could be 56 people, some of them asking for prayer requests, some of them who have moved away from their local,
Yes.
that's a very popular reason why people are tuning in. But to respond to them makes them that much closer to, an engagement. And that's what it's kind of about. And I think that one response when someone's in the time of need, when the pastor reaches out and shows that they're there, could really mean the difference of someone coming and becoming a member of the church, for sure.
Yep. I agree. I also think it's important for a church, to not put all the pressure on the pastor for this. That they probably ought to have kind of an assigned Facebook person
Oh, absolutely.
that's there to respond to comments,
moderate that.
and then to moderate.
Yeah.
And to say to the pastor, okay, pastor, we need to pay attention to this one right here, but
Yeah.
don't worry about the rest of them. I've already got those taken
Right.
care of. And that's a valuable role, and it's a role that, church volunteering at churches is funny, because if you volunteer for something, you either have to leave the church or die in order to get out of that role.
Is
And-
that so?
Generally speaking. And so it can be very refreshing as you're looking for volunteers, and we'll kind of tail back to that for just a second, to say, hey, all we're asking for is a 2-year commitment, or whatever it might be, so that people say, oh, so I don't have to do this for the rest of my life, because that happens a lot of times. Folks kind of get caged into something, And, it was fun for the first year and it was okay for the second year. And now, maybe I'd like to go visit my kids on the weekend sometimes and not have to be there every Sunday. Maybe we'll sit down with some volunteer strategy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds like a second book.
Well, I was surprised when I noted I was, talking about in the bulletin, obviously, that's passed out every Sunday morning. That's a chance to do a lot of things, especially letting people know that you're live streaming. As a privacy concern, that's like a minimum. But I was surprised at how many churches I spoke to about that weren't even asking for volunteers in the handouts that they're sending out all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely see, and some churches don't need as many volunteers, and some churches are really, it's even difficult to get onto the media team because it's so exclusive. There's all colors and different, of the rainbow there. But I think that you're right. I mean, we could have a whole conversation about, reducing the barriers to entry, and getting people more involved is going to be crucial, I think.
Yep. I can't wait to work with whoever you guys select. I just,
It will be interesting to find out, do they have volunteers? I would imagine that whoever we select really needs the system. And they may not have anyone currently ready for that position. In fact, I'll tell a little story about our last church giveaway. That happened in December, I believe. And so I flew out to California to meet with them and help them set up the system and get everything up and running. And they were actually a fairly well-off church in California, outside Los Angeles. And they actually had two volunteers that were working. One of them was an older gentleman who was very happy to give the church some new tools to start streaming and recording what they have, because it's a very interesting Egyptian faith. I'm not going to remember it now, but it was a Coptic Christian religion. And I met the pastor, and he was so excited about winning this system because now they have a 2-camera system with NDI so that they could run it all over their Ethernet. But I'll tell you that the volunteers generally have other jobs. And that's one of the things he kept telling me. He's like, this is great, but you have to realize, like, this is not what I do for a living. So some of the vocabulary that you're using, I'm unfamiliar with. And that's partially I was in the process of writing the book, Helping Your Church Live Stream. And Tess actually helped me write the glossary. And we kind of tried to identify the words that we use all the time and try to put a layman term explanation for these and I gave him the book, obviously. I said, here's the book. If you can give it a read through, I think it'll be eye-opening for you. And just getting the vocabulary together to have a conversation about the technology that they'd like to use or what they'd like to do at the end of the day is like that foundational level of just understanding the words that we're using.
It'd be so cool after a year to go back out there and see what they're doing and see, based on their initial expectations, they may have said, oh, we were able to do this, and this. Or we say, oh, well, we went a whole different direction. And now we're doing, a Bible study and a midweek service and we're doing funerals and we're doing weddings. And you just never know.
This one in particular, in Chino Hills, California, outside Los Angeles, I know that they'll be doing things that will be surprising because by the time I got there, he had already hooked up an Apple TV to the system and he was trying to send the PowerPoint slides on his pastor's laptop over NDI to the network back into the production. And that was before I had gotten there and tried to figure out. And he was just telling me, he's like, I'm trying to do a bunch of stuff. I'm using the new tech NDI. I don't know if it's the right way. Can you look at this with me? And so we were able to talk about, well, you might want to get off Wi-Fi and plug in to Ethernet, things of that nature, But he was trying stuff. And I think a lot of folks who are in the volunteer role, that's what they find fun. Like he was, he has another job. He's not in technology. Right. He's in something government agency. But he did find it fun to play with the tech and, see what it does. And I think sometimes in his spare time, he's thinking in his head, what if we did it this way? Or I wonder if I added this, because that's kind of this day and age that we live in now, that there's a lot of affordable and free things that you can do to add production value and think about, like PowerPoint slides, for example, just bringing those in. That was something that he really wanted to do, and he was already in the process of figuring out how to do that by the time I got there.
That's the best learning right there. is saying, I want to do this. I'm going to figure out how to do it. And, you find 50 ways that don't work until you find that one way that does work.
We're actually about to have a panel after our segments here talking about just this topic. So I can't wait to continue the conversation there. But I have to cut you two off.
All right.
Because we have our next interviewees coming on the XKeys gals. So stick around for that and a giveaway. We'll see you in a moment.
All
Thanks
right.
for
See you
joining.
guys in a
Thank
moment.
you.
Stick around
My
for the
pleasure.
giveaway.
Alrighty, and we are back here at the NAB Show 2019. We just had an amazing interview with Mr. Tom Sinclair, and now we're here with some other friends, the ladies of XKeys. We have Maggie and Miranda.
Hey.
How you doing, ladies?
Good.
Really good.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
What
Absolutely.
a fun change of pace. It's just ladies up here.
It's
right
all
now.
ladies.
No.
I
I
was
was
just thinking that.
I'm
Girl
on
power
camera
now.
Girl power.
Heck
And
yeah.
we decided to bring in Melissa, our intern, and
Hi.
replace Paul. Because we've got the two ladies of XKeys over here, we said, you know what? Let's get rid of all the male energy and
It's-
just take over.
It's the Fearsome Four.
That's what I keep hearing.
I like it.
That's our new nickname.
It's
So
the Fearsome
I can
Four.
dig that. I can
The
dig
Two
that.
PTZOptics and two XKeys.
Heck
Yum.
yeah.
I'm liking it.
That's
I do.
awesome.
I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody in the chat's going to have a fun
yeah.
time with that.
We're gonna have a
Fearsome
lot of
Four.
fun.
Yep,
saying,
I
it's
like
all
it.
female.
And I do
Normally-
think we can all hold our own. So that is a good
Oh,
nickname for
absolutely.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could continue having
Absolutely.
cameras stop
Yeah.
rolling and probably just keep talking the
Absolutely.
day away.
As
Which
the
is
lights
fine with
blind
me.
us.
Sitting here, it's always nice. So how's NAB been for you so far?
Very busy. Our booth has been slammed pretty
Yep.
much the whole time.
Yeah, we have a great spot in South Lower. We're right by the stairs, so we get so many people coming down and coming over the sides and coming back. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I really feel like South Hall has been popping.
It's
Oh, yeah.
so busy.
It is so busy than
yeah.
Central. I've been noticing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because it's all the software back
I was gonna
there.
say, yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of cool stuff to look at up there. Of course, we don't get out much, but we got
Yeah.
to come over here.
And
so.
you guys
Woo.
integrate with all the streaming platforms
Yep.
that are
Yep.
down there.
all
So
the
that's a
streaming
perfect spot for you.
platforms, a lot of the post-production, pre-production, the Adobe booths are up there. You know, we got Blackmagic with DaVinci Resolve. A lot of people use our stuff with that. So it's definitely the XKeys world is over there.
What are you seeing most in terms of the average customer that's approaching you? What are those use cases?
A lot has been VMix. A lot has
A lot of
been
VMix.
Blackmagic.
A lot of PTZ questions
Yeah.
with our joysticks. Of course, we have your
Yeah.
camera mounted, so we're like, whoop, whoop, it's working. So we
Aw,
just have them use a
nice.
joystick, and then they can test it out right there. So that's been great.
Thanks
awesome.
for
Yeah.
representing.
That's really
For
awesome.
sure.
Are they sports applications? Are they house of worship applications? Entertainment? What do you say?
Honestly,
Yes.
all of the above. The great thing about our stuff is how affordable it is. So we get a lot of small venue questions. So a lot of the small churches, a lot of the small schools that aren't D1 that can't afford the giant trucks with everything. So that's a lot of the people that come to our booth are looking for a very simple, budget-wise solution. So
Yep.
Do you do like any giveaways or anything like that?
we didn't this
No,
year.
we
We
did
did
this
one
year.
last night.
Well,
we
last
did
night,
do one
yeah.
last night
Oh,
at
it
this
was
party.
last night.
Yep. That guy was so excited.
Yeah. And
I-
what did he win?
Our new one button.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's one of the very first people that has gotten that.
Yep.
Melissa, you got my mic.
No mic for you.
Melissa, it's your first time at NAB. I might as well throw a question at you.
Stressful.
What's the coolest thing about NAB?
Just all the vendors and
Yeah?
like how many like AV recording is all here. Like I've seen like Shure, Sennheiser, XKeys, vMix, Microsoft for like Microsoft is everywhere.
Yep.
Like just like a whole variety of stuff. And
So you've
like,
been geeking out a little bit?
I've been geeking out. I'm a little geek here, but
No
like,
shame in that.
No,
I'm
shame.
proud
not
to be
at
a
all.
little geek here.
I think we
So
all
there's
are
kind
for
of a
here.
big elephant in the room. We've got a product per lady here.
Yup.
We do have where do you want to start?
I guess we'll
Let's start Let's
down
start
there.
here.
Yep.
Up to you.
So
Let's go.
so this is going to be our new replay unit. It is going to be available hopefully this fall, and of course VMix has it already integrated in. So we are actually showing the custom key set on here. It's not going to ship like this, but we are going to offer this so you can reconfigure it.
Yep.
So replay, transition, back and forth. It's going to be awesome. So we're super pumped
Yes.
about this. We've been asked about this for a long time, so I'm really excited that we
That's
have
really
it.
Really
exciting.
nice.
Yeah.
It's going to give so many different options to so many people. They're
Mhm.
just going to have X keys like all the way across.
We have
Exactly.
just about a little bit of everything. So yeah.
Will that be pre-programmed?
It's not going to be pre-programmed, but within vMix, it's super easy to program. So, that's what's great about our XKeys is it just depends on the user, what kind of show you're
Yep.
running.
You can
Some people
customize
like it this way, some people like it that way. So it makes it really easy to customize per you, like what you want.
But
So-
you can get the print on
Yep,
it.
we're gonna sell this like a key set, like we do with our
Video
T-bar right now. It's called the video switcher set. So I think we're gonna call this like our replay set. So you'll get all these keys. We're just testing out. It might not be the exact layout, but
Yeah.
you'll be able to customize it yourself. You can leave some open if you want to label some, depending on what show you're doing. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Wow.
It,
So
it,
many
it
options.
really blew my mind yesterday when I found out that those were not stickers. You actually have a printer that can
yes,
print for
yes.
those. For
It kind of
those.
looks like almost like
pre-labeled.
nail polish.
Yeah.
A little bit.
There you go, Murray.
Little
You're in
nail
charge of
polish,
that
like,
big
with
printer.
the
Why don't
light.
you explain to them about that printer?
Yeah, so it's just all acrylic printed on there.
Oh, is that all it is?
Yep. So there's like 3 different layers. There's a primer, and then white and color.
And who designs those keys?
That's me.
Oh, that's you?
I mean, yeah.
Yes,
so
girl.
I do all the artwork for it. I know how to run the printer. I do the maintenance on the printer.
There's a lot more into it, I think,
Yeah,
than
you
it
got a big
seems.
job.
It
A
seems
lot more
simple,
into
but
it.
You
Yep.
got a
if you
big
look at
job
the back
on
of
it.
these things, this is not simple.
Right.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, you got a big job on printing that.
Yeah, it's awesome though. I'm loving seeing all the custom keys
Yeah.
explode basically. Everybody
that's
wants
Yeah,
them.
and well,
That's
what's great
awesome.
too is so you could do like you could buy your own set, add to cart, or a lot of our OEM customers have their own sets. So she's doing
Yeah.
runs hundreds of units at a time, putting them on there, sticking it in, coming it out, and that's how we sell it. Is their own controller.
Wait, so you can customize your keys
Yep.
before, like you can
We
Okay.
like, for example, like Enco is a company over in North Hall. They use our 80 key and they've actually custom integrated it. And so when they place an order with us, they have their own part number. Miranda sticks it in the printer, prints their exact layout. We put in an own ID, and then when we ship it, it's their own controller. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's awesome. So
That's
where do you
great
go?
that you
Can
do
you
that.
customize it? Do you go on your website or like?
Yep.
Just go right on our website, and there's literally a custom tab there. Click on that and send me an email.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. And what do you have, Miranda?
So this is called our X Blocks. This is a new concept. We're testing it out here. What it is everybody wants to configure their X keys differently. So we're taking it to the next level where you can take these out.
You did not just do that.
I did. I didn't break it, I swear. But you can move it. Like, say you want the T-bar here and you want, 2 rows of these going there. Or say you want to add in
That
a QWERTY keyboard as well. That
Yeah.
would fit in here. So this enclosure will be custom built for how long you want it.
So you can
Yep.
use it with a keyboard.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
then you can also redesign it's like that game where you're pushing the blocks around.
Yep.
It's a puzzle.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Can't
That
think
is
of what that's
insane.
called.
Do you have anything else like that yet? That's like a brand
This
new
is
concept for you
Brand
guys.
new.
Wow.
Brand new.
Yeah,
That's
we're
definitely gonna get a
actually
lot of attention
our
in the
engineers
chat.
are working on designing a super hub, basically is what I'm calling it,
Yeah.
because that's going to be the difficult thing. Is these are actually all basically an X key module, so
Okay.
it has all the brains in it, so it needs to be able to support them. So right now we're just working on how to configure that within the hub in there. So we don't recommend plugging in a lot of X keys to normal cheap hubs. They're too powerful.
Yeah.
So to have a real good
It
hub
can't
in there,
handle the power.
yeah. So we're actually designing our own. So I think once they figure that out, which they keep saying, hopefully by the end of the year they're going to have the chip done. So we're hoping by maybe next NAB we'll have something a little more close to off the shelf.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have been digging it. So I'm glad we brought
That's
it just to
awesome.
hear
Yeah.
people's opinion on it.
Are
I
there
mean,
additional keys that you can? Are these?
These
like,
are just the
5 or 6
plungers,
pieces?
yeah.
Yep. So if you pull this key off right there,
You can really
Don't
do whatever
try.
you want.
This is what it'll look like underneath there.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yep, and you can use our big
Like,
keys and our
just-
blockers. So this is
coming up
just
with
like a
new
regular
stuff.
X key.
Yeah.
And it's the great spot to do it too, right at NAB. Like
Yeah.
everybody sees
This
it.
is the
and
market to test it in, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
to see what other people like about it, if they're
Mhm.
actually going to use it or not.
Yeah.
Yep,
We've been
absolutely.
getting a lot of
I don't
comments on it.
understand. I don't understand how if you could pull them out completely from
Yep.
the device.
They're going to have USB plugs.
Yep. So it'll
Okay, so
all
there'll be
the
a
plug will
wire
be in the
somewhere
bag.
in
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
And then everything will be hooked up
Okay, 'cause I was like,
behind.
what is happening
Yeah,
here?
they're
Yeah,
all
like
actually
how
going to
is
have
it gonna
USB plugs, and then it's going to be plugged into a hub within this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the
Okay,
one
so
that's
this
messing
is
up,
just
holding the
like
mic
a
close?
whole
Dang.
thing.
Yeah.
Rookie.
Sorry, what's happening?
It's
You're
not-
yelling at me saying I wasn't holding the mic up close
It's not
enough.
me this
Like,
time.
Wow,
Yes, you're
I
the
can't believe it.
professional at
I was
doing
the one that
this.
was like yelling at you guys before, saying, "Girls, you
Yeah.
better hold your mic up." Close.
Maybe it's just our arms are tired. This show
know.
is so hard.
Oh,
It's
well,
yeah,
once I
it's-
start getting
Yeah.
talking, like then I don't. It's like going
Talking
away.
with the
You just start
hands,
moving
yep.
it in and, like- What
don't
about the
wanna deal
one
with
that
it.
Melissa's holding?
So that is our XKE 40. And so the cool thing about this, it comes just like this, or you can get a rack mount version.
Yep.
And it has the rack
Nice.
mount ears on it.
So if you
It's
have
got a
whole system-
super hard industrial cast aluminum. I can't even talk right now. Cast aluminum powder coated case to it.
Yum.
So it's nice.
And it's
And-
USB.
All
Yep.
USB, yep.
And why did you guys build this?
Well, we did have our 32 rack mount, and people wanted a few more keys on there, and they also wanted the back to be enclosed.
Yep.
And it helps give it a sturdier, finished look.
So ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
Yep,
Every,
basically.
every year at NAB we do listen. So I mean that was something people were requesting.
Yep.
A lot of the sports booth guys actually like that because, like I was saying earlier, there's limited space at these desks. We got a lot of roadies that just come in to do a show and they don't necessarily have a lot of room. You can actually place that up underneath the monitor,
Love
so you're
it.
not taking the place of any other keyboards. You're basically just using the monitor space.
So that's often the idea with these narrow, long
Mhm.
units
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
have is to
Yep.
either place on top of the keyboard or
Yeah.
under a monitor, just not to
Absolutely.
take up so much space.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like
got it.
in like an audio like rack build. Like you can just like,
Absolutely.
fit it right in there. It's like a rack.
Yep.
It's a rack size and a rack build. so it's
Exactly.
like-
Yep. So that one, like Mer said, that's our standard version, and then the rack mount version is the same price and already has the ears that come off
Yep.
of it, so you can just slide it
That-
right in.
Same
That's
price?
awesome.
Yep.
Yep.
Same
Very
price.
cool.
Cool.
Yep.
And the
$199.
unit- Yeah. And the unit I have, is
Is
this something
advanced.
you make custom to show as an example, or is this something you could purchase?
So that will be going with this idea.
That's
Okay.
part of our
Yep.
Xbox module. Yeah.
So, not
So the
available
one in
yet.
our booth right now is a little bit longer. The metal
Yeah.
extrusion is a little bit longer. So we have a QWERTY in there, and then we have other ones next to it.
Right.
Same concept with that. You can actually remap that to be like an XKey. So our brains are behind that as well. So it's not going to be your typical QWERTY. So it's not something that normal people would probably just buy to throw in your booth. That's definitely going to be part of the custom design for this.
No.
Is this going to come together, or would this be an add-on?
That's a great question. I guess that's what we're testing to see
yeah.
what people are going to want. I think it's probably
feedback,
all going to
right.
be basically a la carte, add your own is what the concept
Yep.
we're going for. I
NAB's a
think.
great time to get that
Yeah.
feedback.
Absolutely.
Tommy says Amanda and Aggie, two of my favorites.
Oh, Tommy. Maybe one of these years he'll be able to come to the show.
And we're getting called troublemakers?
Hey, now.
I don't think so. We're the problem
Never.
solvers in
Angels.
our,
Thank
in our
you.
groups
Yes.
here. Yeah.
Both ends.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. So you guys have been busy, though. I mean, you've been doing a lot of interviews. What do you think? How's this year been? What's the coolest thing
This
you've
year's
seen?
been insane.
Yeah.
There's been so many interviews,
Yeah.
which has been crazy, but that's kind of our favorite part.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
always great to get FaceTime
Nice.
with
Yeah.
all of our friends and all the
Exactly.
people that we partner with. And you guys have been so great.
I know.
to
We have such a
collaborate
good
with.
thing. That's what I was commenting in the chat the other day with the VMix guys. It's like PTZOptics, VMix, and XKeys. We have such a good thing going. We're all part of the ecosystem, which is what the president of our company has been pushing.
Yeah.
The ecosystem in this world is so important
Yeah.
to have these relations, to understand the
absolutely.
way you work with us. So
And
no,
it
it's
helps
great.
that all of our products integrate so well together.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
and us being on the main stage too. That like wasn't last year. You guys were like the interviewees.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
time you're the interviewers.
Yep.
So like I
It's
think that's a
been really
different
cool.
ball game. And how many interviews have we had? Like, don't we have like
lot.
6 this year?
Too many.
We have
lot.
a lot of interviews.
We've
this
got
year.
a ton. What kind of keys do we have over there?
Yeah, what are you guys
What are we
using?
working with? Why don't you do the behind the scenes cam?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Oh, I
Even though
haven't
your
even-
buttons are way more impressive than mine.
Yeah,
that's
Some are
okay.
hand-drawn.
That's
Oh,
it's
right
some
up
are
in there.
printed.
right up on the
our,
cam, right
Yup.
there.
There we go.
You're out of
oh.
focus, Polly.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
You guys have
wow.
our XK124T bar.
There we go. Oh,
Got
cool.
5 cams on
Nice.
there.
And you
a
can-
giant mute audio button for when we accidentally curse. So
I programmed that one. She made the
Good one.
camera like drawing on
Nice,
them.
nice.
since we didn't
Melissa's
have enough.
mastered the shortcuts.
That's awesome.
I mean, I was talking to Maggie about it, and I could use it like in like Pro Tools.
Yep.
Like I could use it in
Yes.
Pro Tools for shortcuts in Macs.
Yep.
because
Absolutely.
I don't know all the shortcuts on Macs on
Yep.
Apple computers. So like
Yep.
Windows computers, I know fine, but
Yep.
like
Yeah.
Apple's different story.
Yeah, in
Yep.
this world, there are so many programs with a just ungodly amount of shortcuts that you know, Shift 5F to be like a paintbrush or something, and
Yep.
one button. So
Yep.
I mean, in this world, that just makes your workflow so much faster.
Yeah.
In your world, I mean, you're an intern girl. You got to get on it. You need an next key. So if you need me to get you one, I can get you a next key.
Oh,
thanks.
man, she's got the
I'll get you a next key.
Yeah,
You heard
she
it
said
here.
she was telling me yesterday. She's like, "Yeah, we got to get you something for you to play with." and,
Yeah,
like, have fun with it." It's
absolutely.
like,
I mean, if that's your world, see, I have such a basic X key at my desk, so just the normal tasks I do, I'm not getting all that crazy
So you're
editing
just
world.
using them for daily tasks. on your computer.
Absolutely. Yup. Block signature.
Not
My
just for production.
no, just for
No,
day to day
let's think
stuff.
beyond that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you wouldn't think that you would really need something like that, but it makes me so much faster at what I'm doing. I mean, one button, my entire signature, one button to launch my accounting and log me in, like just simple things like
Wait,
that.
So how are you programming that?
Just with our Windows software.
Just with
Yep.
Windows software?
Yep. You
Yeah.
download our MacWorks 3.1, and it's a GUI that pops up, and we're literally recording your keystrokes. You can also insert text. You can insert shortcuts to
I might
applications.
start doing that.
You
Yeah.
can do
It's
multimedia
so many
functions.
software.
You can do
Yeah.
mouse
it makes it so
clicks.
much easier. Like
You can
on
do a
our
game
little
controller.
Yep.
X keys that we have. We
Yeah.
can press like the record button or the stream button. or
That's
Yeah.
a great
something
point.
like
That's
that.
very eye-opening.
Yeah.
Like especially like one of these rack builds, kind of like, or like even like the one here,
Yep.
or even a keyboard like this, it would be
Yeah.
really good at my college.
Yeah.
because like we're teaching freshmen how to
Mhm.
work this program.
Yeah.
But like what's really good is that these can light up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it says, okay, you're the record button on, but before you do anything, you have to shut that
Exactly.
off before you
Yep.
move on.
Absolutely.
So it kind of gets them. But like shortcuts are easy on Mac computers. It's a little tough.
Yeah.
But like doing X keys, it makes it so simple.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but I think we
Tom
need
says
to
I
get
really
you a
need an
24
excuse.
key. I think that's what you need. That's actually our most popular one. That's our flagship one that most people start off with.
I have that one.
So I think I'm going to get you a 24 key because you could actually, if you're getting into programming or any of that stuff, you
Yeah.
can get super crazy with our
Yeah,
X keys. So.
that's awesome.
Yep.
Woo! I got the little in with them.
Yeah. Girl power, man.
It pays to make friends.
Girl power here on the live
Let's talk
stream.
about how there's a giant dent in this microphone.
I
How did
was
that happen?
wondering. Did
Okay,
someone get
so-
hungry? Like what?
All right.
Did you guys see that? That's
Yeah,
what
I
was
thought
showing.
I would
was
see
like,
that.
what is that?
So this microphone is the same model as the other microphones that you guys have, but this does not have an on-off switch.
Oh.
This
you-
is
so you
what
got
an
pissed off and
actual
threw it at the wall.
no. This is what a normal SM58 looks like
Oh,
without the on and off switch.
are you sure? There's definitely a dent in it.
Oh no, there's a
definitely
dent in it.
Is she getting there? Is
Um,
it the rest of the story?
It'll be fine. This is the one from our office. We actually, I believe we have a fourth one just like these at the office. We
Yeah.
meant
We
to
took the
bring
wrong
that
one.
one, but I think Paul accidentally packed this one with a dent in it. And this is the SM58 he was looking for from the office.
Gotcha.
And the dent, these microphones are durable, so like you dent them, it'll be fine.
Stuart
Just
says
adds
he has a
character.
24 key and he loves it. Robert says great gear as always from XKeys.
Yeah.
We got
'cause
some of the social
XKeys is
media being
great.
displayed.
Yeah.
Like this
there.
is like when I started, like I had no idea what XKeys are, and then
Me
I started
either.
programming them and like how simple they are.
Yep.
It's like anyone can do it.
yeah.
Even a baby could do it if they absolutely.
Yep.
Jason has played with them and messed them up a
Yeah.
few times.
Jason has done it.
My son has
Yep.
gotten to them. Agama says able to customize everything. Module was a really good idea.
That's
Yeah.
what we keep
And how
hearing.
big will you get these?
That's going to be the next question. We don't
Yeah.
know. The one in our booth, I believe, is almost twice the size of
I think
this.
it's 19
actually,
inches.
Really?
Yep, 19 inches.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
you have the bigger one.
yeah, so we
Jeez,
ordered a lot
that's
of
really
this metal,
cool.
and then we just cut this to bring it here.
Yeah.
So we have like hundreds of feet of that right now. We're testing with.
So like, are you thinking about maybe doing like custom? Like, if someone wants this, and they would say like, "This is how many keys I want. This is how much customability I want." Like,
basically,
would it
yeah.
just basically be on like, "Hey, I want 22 inches of this metal on the X key." Is like
Yeah.
you'll sell it that
That's
way.
the concept. So I
Yeah.
mean, like this is so new right now. Like literally, we
Right.
just got this finished before we left. So yeah, I mean,
Hey,
in
you know
theory,
how that
that's like we were saying, but it is going to be like you're buying separate X keys. So it's not like that's $199 for that one pre-assembled. This is not
Yeah.
going to be $199.
No,
So-
the price point be a
But
bit
I
more.
mean,
But
in
you
this
give more
world,
options.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was
And
just
your
going to
price
say.
points are very fair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all the stuff that it comes with.
Yep.
Right.
And I think I may have been telling you about hardware mode last night. So a big thing with our stuff too, like you were saying, the kids were messing with it. So another thing people don't realize, like if I were taking my X keys at work and I stored it on the device and wrote it right to the firmware, I could walk to any computer and plug it in, and it'll have everything that I just programmed on it. You don't have to have our software installed. It's just
Yeah.
seen as a hit keyboard.
really,
Yep. You won't be able to swap it out on the fly. You just have to download our software again. But this is important in this world. A lot of guys that do shows don't want to have our software running just in case they're running other softwares. They
Right.
want to get it messy. So hardware mode is really cool. That's one of
That
my
is
favorite
really
features.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
Mhm. And that way you could unplug it and plug it into your Mac. You could use your
Yeah.
Pro Tools. If
Yeah.
there's crossover shortcuts,
Mhm.
it'll work just the same on both.
Great
Yeah,
question
that's
coming in
awesome.
from Tina. What's your website and where can people go to learn more about XKeys and purchase?
Website is xkeys.com, and you can purchase on our website, or you can also purchase on Amazon, B&H Photo.
Yep.
Lots of places.
Any of our international customers, if you go to the purchase page, there's a ton of links. We do have a
Yep.
distributor in the UK. We have a lot of resellers like in Germany, Switzerland, Spain. We are all over. We ship to 95 countries. So we're everywhere.
Excellent.
And I'm giving her a
guys.
shout out. When you do go to xkeys.com, Miranda has been working on a new website. We just launched it a month ago, and it is awesome. So
Really? I
yeah.
have to check out the
You
Yeah.
have to
website.
check it
Yeah,
out.
we
It
all
is
have
so
turned out
great.
good.
Yup, and our search bar is one of my favorite things, believe it or not. You can just start typing and it's going to pull up all of anything that's
Everywhere.
related to that. So it's super
And
easy
now
to
I know that
navigate.
Miranda
Like, so
does
much
it.
easier.
Yeah.
Now I definitely want to
Now
see
we
it.
can, like,
Definitely.
Send a little message, say, "Good job, Miranda."
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
Yep, you can create an account now. You can see your order history. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you guys want to share before signing off?
Anything
Man,
special?
I don't know. I guess
think
not. I mean,
yeah.
thanks for having us. This
Oh,
has been
this has
fun.
been
I think
fun.
we need to do the girl thing more often. Sorry, Paul. I don't know. I'm kind of digging the vibe right here. So
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much
Yeah,
for joining
thank
us and for
you.
sharing your top secret brand new
yeah.
products.
No.
Well, and if anyone's still at the show, please stop back by and see us.
Yep.
Booth SL7408.
Yep.
That's it, SL7408. Thank you so much to the
Thanks,
ladies
guys.
of XKeys. We've got a giveaway coming up, so stay tuned.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Ah, I think we're awesome. Yay! Tooting my own horn, but no, for real, girl. Actually, are you leaving tomorrow morning? You said. Yeah. dead serious. I'm so serious right now. You need to know this, especially if you're going to be sticking with these guys. You need to know our XKeys. So I'll hook you up.
Oh, we're doing a giveaway already?
So, Stefano Ice
Yes,
Cuber?
you're good. I guess we're doing the giveaway already.
You have to give it. You could stay.
Here. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Take.
Stefano Cuber.
Are you
And,
around?
I can't
Are you
find-
in the
Paul, you're gonna have
chat?
to check the chat because wait, it's working. We're live on YouTube now. Okay, you have to be present in the YouTube chat or physically to claim your prize. We're doing the giveaway now, so everybody head over to PTZOptics YouTube channel
/
to claim
giveaway.
your prize.
And if
To
you
claim your prize.
try.
To claim your prize.
And to
Jeez,
sign
I still have one more day after this.
and to sign up for tomorrow's giveaway, PTZOptics.com/giveaway.
There you go, Melissa.
Plug it.
Okay, hello's
Jose.
Jose Elozio.
Lucio,
Are you here, Jose?
are you in the chat?
We will give you a moment, about a minute, to claim your prize, and then we will pick again. Okay.
All
I
right.
don't want to take up any more of your time.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I'll
stop
come by to the
probably
booth soon.
tomorrow. Awesome, for sure. When it's a little bit slower.
Here.
Thanks, ladies.
Here, come sit. Now let's get on the comfy
Big
chair.
comfy couch.
The big comfy couch.
All right. It doesn't look like Jose is here, so we can move on. Remember, you must be. Oh wait.
Wait.
Wait. Okay. All right. We're still good.
Yeah.
We're still good. We are doing the giveaway. PTZOptics YouTube channel. You must be in the YouTube chat to claim your prize.
See who's the next
David
person.
Fardo Rodriguez. David Rodriguez, are you here?
Are you with us in the chat or physically here?
Yes. The first two winners of our giveaway were here physically.
Yeah.
So
And
that
the-
was pretty darn
And
cool.
yesterday, the girl came to me on Monday and was talking about saying, "Are you guys doing a giveaway?" And look what she did, and she won.
Yeah,
She won
that
the
was
next day.
wild.
She was talking about all about that.
David Rodriguez, are you here? Give you another brief moment here. Or we won't. AXA Film, are you here in the chat? Remember, you must be on the YouTube chat to claim your prize at PTZOptics.
AXA Film.
Give you a moment here. Okay, I don't know if AXA Film is here.
Do we have someone?
Are you serious? Well, guess who's the lucky winner? Kyle Gunderman. And he's right here.
And
it's
and
his
it's birthday.
Wow.
Our third winner in our
That
audience.
comes full circle.
What do you want?
I don't know.
I'm just
Can you believe it?
Birthday present.
What a wonderful birthday present. And that's our third winner that was actually at the booth. To be fair, though, we went through a bunch of people that weren't here. So at
Yes.
some point, yes, you're going to come up with somebody that's at the booth. So,
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. What I just want to do right now is read the chat because everybody who knows about our show knows that Kyle has the lucky charm to winning giveaways. Well,
It's been a year plus.
the trivia was
Right.
due to your own smarts. Christopher Kyle says, Kyle.
Hey, Chris.
Agama says, seriously?
Really?
Andrew says, really?
we got a congrats. We got everything.
No, that's so funny.
And you're just a lucky duck. And you get
Drake Finney? Oh, okay.
all right.
All right, Kyle, congratulations.
Thank you.
We got to move onward and upward
No problem.
All right.
for our next interviews.
Woo.
All right.
Hold on, guys. Why don't you want to stay up?
I don't care. Give me a high five.
No.
You get up here. I'll produce.
You produce Melissa. I don't see Michael. Oh, hey.
Hi. The Finney family. I didn't realize when I briefly saw you in the beginning that that's who you guys are. That's all right. It's nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
How was the travel? No, easy. Easy? We only live about 3 hours from here. Okay. Are you in California? Arizona. Okay.
But literally, I look at California through my backyard. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So did you just drive over?
Drive up, yeah. Sent the kids to school, told them I'm not going to pick you up today. And,
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they can
Oh,
walk home.
they can walk home.
Yeah. High school, so.
Really? It's really good. Excellent. Are you guys going to stay the night?
No.
Oh, you're going to head back? Okay. Well, maybe you'll get to have at least a nice lunch or something.
Yeah, we'll something. Well, I'm in like a candy store in here right now.
Really?
Crazy.
Have you had a chance to walk around much, or did you?
She
have
took
it?
me to the south one, and I was like, just going gaga. And she's like, come on.
It's insane, isn't it? Yeah.
So guys, with the mic, you almost wanted to just touch your chin practically.
Oh, so normal radio mics then. Yeah, there's that right up there. Yeah.
All right, so we are here with Drake and Julia Finney, some of our lovely friends in the streaming world. Very familiar with you in the live chat. It's so strange to see you here in person.
I know I'm not stalking you for once. This is bizarre. So.
I wouldn't call it that.
She does.
We're all guilty.
So tell us about your business and what you guys have been doing in live streaming.
Boy.
Go for it. I'll let you.
Okay. Well, we are Havasu Online TV. We live stream all of our local high school sports, local parades, political forums, anything that our community says, hey, we want to see this. So we started just by trying to bring awareness to a situation that we had at our high school. We had athletic field that was basically crumbling from disrepair.
Wow.
It hadn't been updated or even really maintained very well since the 1970s.
Yep.
So in order to kind of bring some awareness to that situation, we went out and we're like, okay, we have a webcam and we have a laptop. Let's see what we can do.
How so many of us begin.
Exactly.
Right. And so the second year, everybody loved us so much. They're like, you have to come back. You have to come back. And that's when we started researching options. We came across you guys and we purchased our first producer's kit.
Okay.
So that's how we started with that. We got really familiar with vMix. So we work with vMix enough so that my husband was recently picked up by Encounter Roleplay as a streaming engineer.
Yep.
So
Wow,
he's doing that on the back end.
Congratulations.
That's a blast to do.
Wait,
That's amazing.
Tell us
my
about that.
goodness.
Yeah. Well, Encounter Roleplay is just live D&D, live play, but they use the vMix software, and literally I'm operating the cameras, or not cameras, but the vMix systems in the Netherlands, where they have 3 of them that are hooked up, and it's just absolutely amazing. They've got 8 vMix call channels that come in, and it's run seamlessly for 9 hours every day, streaming live RPG games. So
Wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible how much of a renaissance that Dungeons and Dragons has had with the advent of live streaming.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's totally had a huge jump of that, and it's all because of live streaming and the fact that when I grew up, I'll admit I had to hide in the basement because we weren't allowed to talk about it out in the world. And now you've got for perfect example, Critical Roleplay that does 30,000 viewers a night when they go live. So it's really big in how it's come, and it's going worldwide, and you've got people connecting. Recently on Saturday night, when it's midnight for me when we're doing the show, I'm actually dealing with people that are in the New Zealand because it's morning for them, so they're just getting going. So they go to breakfast after the show, and I'm like, good night, guys, I'm going to bed. So.
I have some ideas for you that I'll run by maybe later, but
Okay.
we developed a application for Twitch that allows the viewers to pan, tilt, and zoom the camera.
That
and
would
it's
be
actually,
fun.
they can pay bits, and that's how they kind of monetize the show. So we'll talk about that later.
For the
That'd be
table games, that's
Yes.
really kind of a fun one.
Well, and it's also helped because like small venues like the new board game Dice Throne that came out the past 2 years, it's kind of sweeping the country. They called us and brought us on to do their streaming for their convention. And that's gotten bigger and bigger each year. And we have a lot of people that can't come to Seattle for it. And instead, they sit there and just join us online. And it's absolute blast. I've never had so much fun supposedly working. And I love it because when I go live streaming, I look at her, hey, I got to go to work. And she looks at me and she goes, yeah.
Yeah. So we have a lot of fun, and we enjoyed your product so much. And we had we know that there's a big market for your products in our area, so we actually became retailers for you.
Great.
So we
I didn't actually know that.
we're a retailer for you as well.
So what area are you from?
We're from Lake Havasu City, Arizona,
Gotcha.
Mojave
Arizona.
County, which is just right across the river from California.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of in a tri-state area, so Las Vegas is only 3 hours from us, and California is right across the river, and so.
Oh, we're going to have
Yeah.
to chat after this with, we'll be running back and forth, but you have to check out the booth because we've got a lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah,
Well, we've been
walked all
walking
around.
a couple
We've talked
times.
we've talked to some of
I
you
already
guys.
talked to
and
Matt
that-
a little bit, going, okay, I need this.
Yeah.
But
We're
it's
really
been-
excited about your new wireless.
Okay, scared me. There's things that we're only keeping for partners.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't.
But the
I know.
wireless
the wireless
stuff,
you've already
yes.
mentioned on your online
Yes,
show.
yes.
We're really excited for that. We were just hoping it would be available a little bit
Especially-
sooner.
Yeah, I know. We try
We've
not
been
to
told
advance something that's
that.
going to be announce something that's going to be like a year
Right,
from now.
yeah.
But I know if you're live streaming sports, it might be something of interest for sure.
Well, most interestingly, our high school has come to us and said, "Well, you guys live stream our graduation, which we've done the last 3 years."
Oh, wow.
And they said, "Well, can you take what you're capturing and put it on a screen on the field?" And we're like, "Oh, well, we could probably figure out how to do that, and your solution would be absolutely perfect for that. It's just
Yep.
not going to be available by the time we need it." So,
Oh, by graduation.
Yeah, so we either need to pause graduation for a little bit, which I'm sure the kids won't mind.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
you know,
If
Well,
they
you
have
know
to
what,
like
let's talk
skip a
about
semester
that,
of
too,
college.
because we're in the process where we're trying to build some case studies, and we have a few units that we could maybe temporarily send you because we're trying to create
For
case
a
studies.
reseller, I think that might be a possibility. We'll have to
I
talk
think we should
to our
definitely-
engineer.
Taking me up on that
I will
because
take you up on that.
we have a unit that's just for me and Tess, and we're not using it every week. So.
Oh, no, yeah, I've already looked into the 4 screws, come off the wall pretty easy.
Okay, so if that goes missing, we know who to call.
Yeah.
look in his bag, not mine.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting that you've just kind of dove into this world, and now you've been able to make a whole career out of it.
Well, and it was
Both
been
of
a
you.
blast because, and it was one that they had a streaming business come to the school and try to do it first, but they wanted to charge the viewers $10 per viewer to sit at home.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the
heard
athletics
this
director
before.
saying, we can't get people in the seat for $2. And we need to show what's happening to the field because it was the last time they updated it was 1978. And it was, it needed some bad help. Now it looks beautiful, it's state
We
of
have
the
a whole
art.
brand new stadium.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Wow.
So do you guys kind of have a lot of influence in that, I imagine?
The new athletics director looked at me and said, "What do I need to do to keep you in here?" And,
tech-wise.
tech-wise. And I
and-
gave him a list going, never meet it. They'll never do all
Yeah.
this. And they did it all. And I'm going,
Yeah, we have amazing internet
Yes.
in and out, down and up.
And now you have the responsibility.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
had to keep up your part of the bargain.
yes. And they work so greatly with us. Like House High School District has just been nonstop supportive. And they look at us and go, thank you for it. And it's like, no, you guys make it fun for us.
And even our local radio station that broadcasts the games live, they do their own broadcasting. They watch our screens because your cameras are so great
Yeah.
that they can actually see the numbers better on our screen than they can on the field themselves. So
Wow.
they
Yeah.
actually utilize our output to be able to watch what's going on the screen. So it's
Wow.
kind of fun.
And we haven't upgraded to instant replay yet, but because of the little delay of the couple seconds, you'll see all of us pull our phones up and go, no, what really happened there? So,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because we monitor what's going on up on Facebook. So
Mhm.
everybody's, and even the coaches will watch our stream on the field to kind of get that minute or so delay to see what really happened in the play.
That's a
It's kinda
great
fun.
Yeah,
point.
we've really
Wow.
we've had a coach question a call and it actually get passed because of that, because they actually had our phone up watching in the booth and they called back in the headset like, no, that was not the call, that was not the penalty. So
Yeah.
How about the access to the on-demand footage of the sporting events? Has that helped with coaches and students and access to scholarships? Because that's something we think about a lot.
We had a young lady who was a volleyball player, and the coaches couldn't come out and see her in time, but they started watching her, on our YouTube stream, and
And we were able to actually make some cuts from our video too and create a video compilation for her. a
Highlight reel.
Really, yeah, and
For
she
her, and she actually went
That's
on
how
to
we
get
always
a great
picture it
college
going.
scholarship.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's excellent.
Wow.
yeah,
Love
it's been-
hearing
been a blast, and it's all because of your cameras. I mean, I give you guys credit all the time for it. So,
We so appreciate that.
Right.
and I give you my credit card once in a while too. So,
And you guys made the drive out to NAB. I always enjoy being able to walk around a place and see all of this technology, even though it's too much for any one person to wrap their whole head around. I don't think
There's
anybody
so
really
much.
fully.
Oh my
But the
gosh.
more you go, the easier it is to kind of pick and choose the companies that you want to follow and understand what they're doing. And
Yeah, the
get kind
funny
of-
thing is this isn't our first time at NAB. We actually were in broadcasting through radio for years. We're
Ah.
actually certified radio, whatever our certifications are in that thing. So we've been to NAB before, but it's always been on the radio end of things.
Got it.
And so this was kind of our first time branching out into this whole streaming.
Isn't it
world.
crazy?
It's totally different from our previous experiences, so it's fun.
Yeah, it's just really the change in broadcasting the way it's gone, because I started in 90 back with Mesa Cable Channel 66. And just as I've watched how the industry has changed, I'm sitting there going, this is amazing. This is, what we do with computers and just a few cameras, that used to be a whole studio half the size of the building.
Thousands or millions of
It's
dollars.
fun when you can take control of vMix and cameras and stream and record all in one application. The girls that were on before you, they were like, Paul, can you not be on the show for this one? I was like, sure. Can I be the producer? I like to be behind the camera just as much as I like to be in front. I mean, there's so many roles and different things people can do.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough that our local Chamber of Commerce got a grant to do
Excellent.
some internships from the high school. So we actually had an intern from the high school come in and work with us and learned all of our broadcasting software. And by the end of it, he was running most of the baseball that we were just doing recently. He was the producer, the back end for it.
That's so cool.
And running all of our commercials and all of our intros and the overlays and everything. So he really learned some valuable lessons. He wanted to come with us today, and we would have brought him, but it's testing week. It's our state testing week.
Bummer.
So otherwise, he would have been with us.
Yep.
It's funny. Our intern is running the cameras now. We actually did get a chance to bring her, and she's learning so much.
Yeah.
I remember wondering, look, there she is, whether or not we could bring her. And we all decided, you know what? She's proven she's switching now.
She's earning her keep over there.
Yeah. Yeah, next year we'll be dragging the interns with us, because I think we're going to have more than just the one apply next time.
And it's great because, like I said, our local Chamber of Commerce got a grant, so they're actually a paid internship for these high school students, which is fabulous.
Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah, the intern made more than I did, so.
So you're like, what is going on here?
I got
Doesn't make any
nachos, he got
sense.
nachos and a soda. I don't know what's up with that. So.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
We've got Live View next, everybody. How do you say it again? Havasu. Havasu Online TV.
How
Check
can we
out their
find out more
website,
info?
especially if you're in the Arizona area, because
On Facebook, Havasu Online TV Live, and on YouTube, Havasu Online TV.
Yes, and I'll apologize for my announcing right now, because
He's our
It's an
sports
acquired
announcer.
Well, thanks again,
guys.
guys. And next
Thank
up
you.
is Live View.
all right.
Oh, my goodness. What are you guys most excited to see?
Lunch?
Yeah, we walked by real quick, and we're going to stop by and say
Thank you so much, guys. We'll have to touch back later on today.
Yeah, we'll stop back by before we head out.
All right.
Tell you guys.
Yeah, because I want to try to crack that idea of doing that projection booth. So.
Sounds like a good plan. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
bye,
you so
guys.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
We'll
Great
see you
to finally
soon.
meet you, and I'll just.
I know, it's so crazy. But I always see Havasu online on YouTube, so I'm familiar with it. All right. Come on
All
over.
right.
Janelle. Yes.
Janelle, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's not phonetically spelled correctly. I've got my baggage tag.
Yeah, she's got her badge tag.
I have like so many logos on like a billboard, but I drew the line on any leg, logos. Any leg logos? Oh, okay, I'm surprised. Okay, well, they have socks. I know that's a fact. I'm surprised they don't have you in
Just
leggings.
Usually, almost as if it's touching your chin. It just got to be.
All right, let us know when we're back, Melissa.
Hello.
See, a lot of people have been kind of holding it down here. It's got to be close.
Here? Okay.
Ooh, that's something I haven't seen before.
Yeah, that's
I haven't seen that one very
This is
much.
brand new.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm excited to talk
For
about that.
NAB?
Yeah. Well, we just started shipping in
Very cool.
All right, and we are back at NAB 2019. We are here with Live View's Janelle Fleming. Hey, welcome.
Hi,
Hi,
thank you
Janelle.
for having me. I'm glad to be
Yeah.
here.
So we have been having so much fun with our Live View products. We're so glad you got to come on.
Awesome.
We got a chance to host the Live View show
Yes, thank
each
you for that.
day,
That was
and
great.
I
So
want to talk to you about your product and everything. But quickly, in case anyone didn't see, we were live streaming with the Live View Solo, an LU600 here, and then you had a Live View Solo at your booth.
Yeah.
And we were able to seamlessly kind of walk from North Hall to South Hall all wirelessly, broadcasting
Awesome.
to Facebook, YouTube, all of that.
Mhm.
And it's all because of this type of product. So can you show us what you have here?
Yeah, so we really have three major product lines that are sort of geared towards portability and streaming or broadcasting live. The Solo is sort of our prosumer product. It's hugely embraced by sort of individuals who want to do something. You know, maybe they have a big platform, they're on Facebook or Twitch, but they want to sort of add, you know, creative content. So Solo is a great solution for that. What it does is it's a high-end encoder, and it uses a technology called bonded cellular to basically create an internet pipe so that you could stream to whatever platform. We have this today, which is our newest broadcast level encoder. It's the LU300, but it's
LU300.
Yeah, it's sort of the guts of the 600, which is what you guys are using now, where it's got 7 modems inside, an HEVC encoder, but built into a smaller form factor unit.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is one I have not seen before. And
Okay.
as you said, it's brand new.
So one of the things I like about it, I'm already seeing here, is that it has the cellular chips, if you will, the SIM cards.
Yes, that's right.
And I like that a lot because you're showing also here these dongles, I call them, but they're USB modems,
Right.
jetpacks.
Mhm.
Jetpacks.
Yeah, some people call them jetpacks, I
I
think.
don't
like
know.
it.
That sounds cool.
I'm going to use that.
So they're strapped to the front here. So this actually can be pretty much just belt packed right on.
Yeah.
Is that how it'll
So
be?
Yeah,
I
and there's
can
a
see it.
strap too. I didn't bring it, but you can shoulder strap it.
Oh, really?
As well.
But you
So-
still have access to all the ports.
I actually prefer. See, it's the little when you start doing this kind of stuff. It's the little things because like I would rather have it shoulder strapped because I've had so many times where I started out with the Solo and I'd like knock it and
Yes,
things because it's right
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are doing the backpacks.
Yeah.
Which I think is huge. Can
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about the backpack thing because
Yeah.
everyone's doing that now,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So the backpacks were really built for news applications. So traditionally, you know, back 10 years ago before bonded cellular, they'd have a big microwave truck to get the news, the contents back to the control room so they can like cut it into their news broadcasting segment. And now it's just a backpack, a reporter, a shooter,
Yeah.
and they can go into the middle of a park. They can go into the locker room of a
completely
venue.
untethered.
Yeah, and that's why you see so much hurricane footage because now they're like they can go in the water, they can go in a canoe because
Are you
untethered.
safe over there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm like, all right, that's enough, you guys. We get it to hurricane.
And I feel like anytime there's a huge event happening around the world, like the royal weddings,
yes,
you see so many people with live view backpacks at those events. It's
Yeah.
unreal.
yeah, we call it the sea of blue. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they're everywhere. So yeah.
And sorry, you first.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Something interesting I heard about with the royal wedding, you reminded me, there were all these people with these backpacks.
Yeah.
And the television stations are actually able to work with these freelancers that have the live view backpacks. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. So we built a program called Live View Community, which
Love
is
it.
essentially freelancers who, you know, they're self-starters. It's a whole different price point as well, but they're strategically located all over the globe. So a lot of our broadcasters, maybe a breaking news story, they want to, you know, get some footage or cover it, but they don't have a local, you know, affiliate there in that area, or they don't have anybody on scene. So they can actually call up we have a roster as well as a website, Live View Community, to get and book freelance shooters. And they have, you know, listed a profile with their cameras, what kind of live view unit they have. They call us, we add it to their group, and it's done.
So they post their footage or whatever it is they're capturing, and
Yeah.
news stations pick that up.
Mhm.
That's so cool. What an amazing opportunity for people looking to like freelancers and stuff.
Yeah. And for the freelancers, I mean, it's great because now they're getting, most of them are doing 3 or 4 shoots a month using the live view unit, in addition to all of the other things that they do. So it's really great for self-starters trying to promote their business. And, yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm going to fire up our live view backpack
Oh,
while you guys finish the interview because we can end our live. One of the things I've wanted to do with this show that we haven't done yet, Tess and I are about to go to the NAB main stage. We're hosting the show there.
awesome.
And I've wanted to take the viewers along the ride and mobily walk them over there. Remember we've been talking about
Yes,
So
we've
if you
been
don't mind, I'm
talking
gonna fire
about
it up.
because we often we use Easy Live cloud-based streaming
they're
to
great.
do the transitions between our professional studios and then the on-field reporting. So that's how we did that this
amazing. That's how you
morning.
moved.
That's how we moved this morning. Yeah. So we were just switching. We had a feed from our Solo into Easy Live and then a feed from our studio here.
Yeah.
All you have to do is pick which one you want to be on the output, and
Yeah.
then we can transition. So
Wow. Shout
that's
out
how
to
we.
Felipe at Easy
Yeah,
Live.
Felipe is awesome. We love that.
Yeah.
We love that platform.
Awesome.
But it's such a healthy partnership.
Yes.
I've got crazy people making faces at me over here. Crazy people. Anyways, so that's been such a fun thing to be able to do. And this is like all new for us over the past year.
I bet you guys are exhausted.
Yeah. Well, a little bit, but
Yeah.
being able to have this partnership with you guys has been amazing.
No, we're very grateful for all the stuff that you guys do. It's fun to watch your videos online. And when I started at LiveView, is watching you guys actually is how I sort of started to learn like how to pitch the product and everything. So it was helpful for me. And
we use the LiveView all the time. We've been doing a lot of event streaming in our local community.
Okay.
And it's been really amazing to be able to go anywhere we want to outside of our studio. And you've just opened so many doors for so many streamers.
Cool.
And it feels like everybody has a backpack nowadays.
Yeah, we're definitely growing more and more. And I work in sports, so that's mostly the clientele that I work with. I also have partnerships with the streaming platforms, so Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. And a lot of it is, these social platforms, obviously they've built this live functionality on there. And because, you're now discoverable. It puts your brands up there. It floats you to the top with a little red live logo. And for us, it's how do we make that as easy as possible for the individuals? So on the sports side of my life, it's empowering teams on that social media platform to say, hey, like you guys can add revenue just by going live on the platform with some high quality tools. So it's not just on your phone. It's like with PTZ camera setup and a LiveView unit, and it's cost effective. It's not that much, too high a barrier of entry. And the social teams, the Facebooks, that they have a great booth here going on if anybody wants to check it out. But they're really hands on with their creators and their content producers. So.
I remember we live in Westchester, PA, and QVC hosts this big parade, the Christmas parade over here. They still have the vans, the production vans, but they have this giant LiveView satellite looking thing. And I saw it said LiveView. I said, what is this?
Yeah, so that's our extender.
Okay.
So in a lot of these like big events, there is like with cellular networks, a chance of congestion. So
when
populated. So whenever you have your bandwidth really spread across more cellular on-ramps, I call them interfaces, it helps like keep a stable stream for those types of environments. So really the extender has 7 additional modems.
They're not messing around at QVC, I don't think.
No, they don't want that stream to go down because that's money loss. Right?
And QVC is using LiveView, which is kind of more what I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You guys have a really far reach, and that's a huge network.
Quality, value, and I can't remember.
Performance?
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that?
QVC, no, C starts with a C. Quality, value. No, the
I thought you were talking about your product. No. I'm like, yes, it is great quality, it's great value, and it's great performing. Oh my gosh.
I'll think of the whole acronym.
Quality, value, and
quality, value.
Convenience.
That's
what it is?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
I know.
So what else can you share with us about what's happening with NAB or what's coming up in the future of LiveView?
Sure. So we've launched a new platform really on our news level, but it's called LiveView Matrix. So not only are we sort of a bonded cellular and hardware encoding provider, we're now getting into content management. So, if a CNN or actually one of our bigger customers, CBS NewsPath, needs to share content with the local affiliate stations, they have over 200 in the U.S. And it's a very symbiotic relationship, right? Like they can grab content from their affiliates, share content with them. So in their newsrooms in each local market, you've got content for days, ideally, and covering all the news.
Right.
So how do you guys do that? Traditionally, it was always over a satellite dish. So it was always, pay for sat space, get dishes in each one of these affiliates, and it was very expensive. So now we've built this sort of web browser platform to actually grab and move content, share between the stations, all using the internet and our encoding devices. It's as simple as that. So
has
really
that been
cool.
a big hit and big point of interest this year?
Huge change for us. It's a very disrupting service offering in the television broadcast world. So, we've had to put our heads down in a few places.
Hey, but you can't stop the future,
Yeah,
and you can't stop
change is
progression.
inevitable,
And
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So yeah, we're excited about that. We've got a few graphic functionalities on the Solo platform that
Mhm.
we've deployed.
Yeah, I've heard about that. You can do some overlays. And
Yeah. So if you want to just sort of elevate the content, just one extra layer of saying, hey, like maybe it's a single camera shoot, or maybe you're just switching between two on a simple, device, and now you can add live graphics.
For those freelancers, I could see this. They need it quick. They need it
Yes.
now. They need it simple and easy. So,
Right.
is that something that you would apply on your mobile device, or would you be? How does that work?
Normally it's on a laptop, so it's all via web browser. So you basically go into your solo portal like you normally would. You have somebody, it's sort of you have to do it separately, but they're literally switching the graphics from their computer into your stream live.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah. You can build your own templates. You can type in stuff as you're maybe walking the booth, list names of who you're interviewing for the audience.
And I can
So-
only imagine that functionality growing.
Yes. Yeah, it's huge, and it's
I wonder if you're going to have your own production platform on there to give full scale.
that would keep me pretty busy. But
What is your title, if you don't mind me asking?
sure,
I
I'm
need
a
specifics.
sales manager
Sales
for
manager.
sports and social.
For sports and social?
Mhm.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it's an emerging market for us. So we covered news for years and years. So we're now getting more involved on the sports side and the social side.
And are you based out of New Jersey?
I am. Yeah.
You're okay.
Jersey City.
Are you doing professional sports and things like that?
Yeah. For the league
That's so
level and the
cool.
regional rights holders and
They're giving me the time call,
All right, all
so I
right.
guess that's all we have. But we are going to switch. Are we switching to an IRL? Are we switching to the backpack?
All right.
Well, I guess we're going to go live with the Live View Solo right now. We've been using the 600.
All we got to do is switch to this. All right. Now we switch to this.
Broadcasting.
The website is
www.liveview.tv.
Yeah, we can't miss that.
Yeah.
Can't miss
Thank
the
you.
plug.
Yeah. This is great. Thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much.
You reminded me that we have to use this thing.
I
more
love
often.
it. I love it. Yeah, we're actually building some of our own.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're going to be offering, and we've got some stuff in development, so stay tuned.
Just don't say anything that you're not allowed to on camera.
Okay. Yeah. Crazy. I'll ask you.
My backpack, which is on the floor.
Hi.
All right, guys, here we go. We're going to take you to the main stage. Where's Mike?
He's talking to people.
Oh.
That's why he doesn't have the backpack. Test for testo. That is yours.
The whole deal is this. He says, I wanted to get...
Are you so happy it's for makeup on? You're going to look gorgeous.
It's the makeup he's looking forward to.
We all need to get our makeup on.
He doesn't think
Wait, do we have
serious.
JD?
No, I'm dead serious.
No, there is makeup.
No, we need JD.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's go.
I'm going to get to the stage.
I wanted to get a little shot like we did last year, right here on the stage in front of Mike. Yeah. The only thing that's new is we really want to Ann Arbor's on a couch.
Paul, how much more time's on this?
Are you recording?
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
because you guys can do that little run in.
This will be the first time our audience is actually seeing us on the main stage from our own stream. So
Yeah.
you'll get
Really
a funny
excited
view
for
of
this.
it.
Here we go,
Beyond-
guys. I don't know if our audience has seen this.
No, they haven't seen it. I mean, if you want to watch the real deal, go to nabshow.com. And you will find a button that takes you to the live feed. We'll be on at 3 p.m. Pacific.
So here it is. So this is the main show. Next year, we're going to try to get them to use PTZOptics cameras. Let's see about that. We are the NAB Show Live. What are the invites? Let's take a look at the tech.
That iPhone and that iPad.
That's one over here real quick. This is Christine. She's the main producer of the show. She does a great job. She actually has a microphone and a headset. She talks to me and Tess in our ear, so we can hear her as she talks. And you can see up here they've got a Skype TX unit, so they can Skype in live interviews. They've got a big rack system with some Blackmagic equipment and a really large TriCaster control panel there that's being used. And you can see that everything is looking really good over here. So
I think this is beeping.
That's our.
That's okay.
Okay.
So that's that part of it. Come on over here. It's a lot of technology, and I'm not going to lie, it's more than probably 99% of our customers are ever going to need. But you can see here there's a live interview area where we have space for actual people to sit and watch. And we've actually had a packed house. Yesterday, esports was totally packed. The broadcast club was totally packed. And so I think Tess and I are doing a good job of picking topics that a lot of people care about. So thank you. It's nice
you guys are engaging.
We're engaging, but it's also nice to see like real people in seats. Sometimes, even though I know we have a lot of live viewers online, and we're so happy that you're here with us, but to see real people here, it just puts kind of a different type of. Now this is Judy. Okay, Judy is an amazing makeup artist, and she has been helping us look pretty, get the shine off our faces. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Jude Andam Makeup. It's JUDEANDAM.
There's the
and
card
the word
right there.
Makeup. Jude at judeandam.com is my email. All my information.
Plug.
Thank you very much.
How fashionable she looks too.
Yeah. Christine's got the nice skirts.
Christine is the skirt she's got.
She's my skirts.
I can't.
That's one that's really good.
Paul is trying to bring
What's the other word
the
that you said?
lingo.
I can't even.
I can't even.
So what do you want to do first?
Well, you're here. Might as well.
And then do you want to do that run-in?
I do, but that we need to do what Mike's camera is like super.
You call them shut-ins. I say age out. Because people know the age, like the age out community. For whatever reason, you want to be in there. That's even better.
At this point, they've learned.
Like for you, 20 minutes. Yeah. Just you talking about.
You're watching NAB Show Live, produced by Broadcast Beat.
I will be good.
Emmy-winning technologist who specializes in media.
Be as good as I can be.
In the technology sector.
I gotta remember that. Face for radio, and I'm not
decided to have a true technology thought leader, Riza Razula, the CTO of Real Networks. Sir, how are you?
I'm very well. Thanks very much. It's always a pleasure to be here.
I gotta say, of all the technologists I know, I respect you the most. You know that I love the bounce ideas off you. Hear the cool stuff you're working on.
I was like, oh God, what's my Instagram? I was like, oh.
So, something that I was sort of
one time we get that
Real Networks, software that I had loaded on my computers in the older days, software that I played with music. They had a large interest in that.
It's so calm.
It will be Tess' turn to go on the makeup chair soon.
So when you go live, do you do his makeup or does he do it himself?
I don't put makeup makeup on him in Westchester. I should. Maybe I will start.
What does the viewers think?
Well, you wear lipstick in
I did
Westchester
put makeup on him
sometimes.
one time. I put makeup on me in Westchester.
So Tom, he's just coming to meet us here.
Yes.
I have a feeling he'll take up quite a bit of the... He's pretty good. I mean, obviously he's good at speaking on camera, so he'll do very well.
You know, like for me, like my part's pretty simple from the main side. You know, we take your source into your, whether it's to
It's pretty much a powered diagram rather than emphasizing the consumer-facing application. It's now the technology that's in smart TVs, in cars, in numerous other devices, and so real networks powers that technology. And then what you've heard in the news recently is that real networks double down.
So that concludes the makeup for me, and Judy's going to bring either Tess or Jared or Tim. Now here's something I want to talk to you guys about. So what we do a lot of times is we try to come up with a really good topic, right? And Tess is really the organized one. And she puts together some of our icebreakers and some of our questions.
Make sure you bring up the Facebook.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Facebook map, and on Sunday morning, looking at that, it's really an eye-opener when you see how many churches are live streaming. So we're going to try to help people understand. And, like, our job is to, I think, a lot of times frame up a subject for someone who has no idea what the topic is, and then we luckily have enough time in a show like this to get into a high-level overview, show some of the topics, some of the interests of our guests, and then get into some of the nitty-gritty details, geek out for a little bit, if you will. So this is like kind of what we do to try to stay on topic and get the most out of our interviewees. So so glad you guys get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes here.
And then, that was my section.
Business still continues largely in China, but historically.
Some of the topics that they talk about are so interesting.
Because of natural strength in the record industry.
Do you guys know if we can eat while we watch the show?
I don't make the rules, but you should be fine.
Eat until they yell at you, then you just leave, right?
As long as you bring it.
Can I get a little touch-up though? A little base?
So it's really real with Napster is really the disruptive kind of bad boys of the internet that I like hanging out with actually.
I guess
Some notes calm down for you now that you've done it a couple times. It's just the first one.
Yeah, the first one was, now that I've done it, I feel pretty good.
Trained professional. Now you're just trained professional. Fox
I
News,
didn't
here
know
you
what
go.
to expect. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. Is the mic still loud in your ears?
I actually turned it up because I couldn't hear them clearly what they were instructing me to do. That's the strangest part, that they're telling me to do something. And I'm like, okay.
I'm just trying to listen to two conversations at one time.
You just flew in and then
Double cable up top. She's really going over the top of this
We're
makeup.
actually streaming now. Come over here, Melissa. I want to show a couple things.
I see that our clients.
So, one thing about the NAB Show Live that I find interesting is the fact that they are using pretty much all PTZ cameras. Now they're using all PTZ cameras for this production, not PTZOptics cameras, something I want to change. This up here is a zip line. Okay? So, I'm not sure how it works. I'd like to almost ask these guys, but essentially what it does is it flies from up there all the way into the show, which is kind of like a cube. There it is. There it goes. Talk about pan, tilt, zoom, right? I mean, in a way, that's what it's the fourth dimension, right? It's got that y-axis. So it spins around, and then as it spins, there it goes. shoots down. So clearly somebody's playing with it right now. Here, let's come over here. So it flies down this right here, and then it shoots down onto the screen. Now there's also, if we come a little further over, there's also a camera teleprompter system that's on a track there. So when you watch the replay, you get a chance to look at some of the footage. You'll see in the very beginning, if they do it right, a fly-in cam shoots down, then the track that rolls, and then cut to one of the 5 PTZ cameras that they have. So just to give you an idea of what's behind the scenes. I'll see you in a little bit. I'm going to go to the bathroom for the show.
Safety and security, and it's just recently the National Institute of Science and Technology ran a bake-off between 100 or so different facial recognition algorithms. Ours came out the top for live video. So yeah, it's a great hard work by our team. Facial recognition is super important, but to be able to do it for live video is very, very difficult. And in the same way that we took on the hard problem of streaming video when it was very difficult to connect to the internet, we took on the hard problem of solving facial recognition in the wild case. So what we mean by in the wild is when the person's not looking directly at the camera, they're moving in the wild. And so imagine, back to your original question, imagine now the facial recognition processing being used for live video for the OTT application. But for, let's say, live sports, or you've got a camera shoot on the red carpet runway.
So it's not just for security.
It's not just for security. No, I'm looking for broader applications for facial recognition.
Give me some examples.
Sure. So you see a lot of professional cameramen walking around with cameras, with backpacks in there, and I thought, wow, well, we could drop our facial recognition into that backpack. So they get a signal to say, hey, a CEO of a Fortune 500 company just walked into your field of view. You might want to keep it. Or cameraman at the Oscars might not know who the dean is very well. But I'll sit on the edge.
We don't have to know, but okay. Celebrity's a celebrity, man.
So, now live use cases, live sports, you don't have the opportunity to ship all the footage up to the cloud like the SaaS providers want to do. So you have to send us your footage and we'll batch process that. You can do that locally at the edge. So when we're up there, it's going to be processing in the cloud. You end up with a smarter solution.
I know there's been a lot of criticism about privacy and facial recognition. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so this is something we take extremely seriously. There is a responsibility to preserve the privacy of privacy.
Okay. Toodles. Hi. Why doesn't Tom sit a little bit closer to text?
Tom's going to be... I'll be next where you can do tests.
How are you?
Tom's first, Jared 2, I'm 3.
No, yesterday.
Sure, the same.
Michael Upshaw's not here.
Turkey.
No, he's not.
Because they were confused because we didn't have all three names on the list.
Oh, did you give him the changed name?
Yeah, Christine just came out.
unfortunately got picked up. It's a kid.
Something sick.
Yeah, he's got plays the sun.
I wouldn't say I'm dead.
You are.
I'd like to be recognized walking into the airport so that
So how is this switching going to go?
For what?
For us to...
Basically, so what will happen is you can just sit down, whoever wants to watch from there will, because there is no access to this show on YouTube and Facebook. So you are providing access to millions
I have
and
to
millions
sit
of
here.
live viewers. Or you can just put the bag on your lap or something, just point the camera at it or something. You might be able to literally hang the backpack or just put it next to you.
I'll figure it out.
But the NAB show does not live stream to YouTube and Facebook. That's something that I'm trying to talk to them about. There's reasons why, but they are allowing us to get the footage at some point, post it on YouTube, post it on Facebook, so that everyone can really benefit from the learning. Because we have, Tess and I have done a lot of work trying to craft, not a curriculum, but a series of shows that are going to help specifically our audience. So we're talking about churches now, we're going to be talking about high school sports, and those types of series and videos where we can have a panel and guests are really important. So that's what we're doing now.
Explaining to the live stream. We're on live. Yeah, I hear the Skype call. Someone's Skype's going off.
It's yours.
There we go.
I wasn't the only one. I was hearing it too. I thought it was mine.
Stop going crazy.
I did. Tom Sinclair, everybody. Getting all done up with makeup. Yeah, we're live, which I have to wear the backpack or put it down somewhere.
So far this week, we have interviewed, this is kind of impressive, Rubley, LinkedIn Live, Broadcast Clubs of the 21st Century, Esports, and Twitch. We're about to do the future of church production and live streaming high school sports.
Yeah, and then do you guys do a stream tomorrow? At 11?
One last stream. That's what I always do.
At 1.
11 a.m. maybe? 10 a.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Pacific.
I won't be here.
4 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m.
Yeah. 1 p.m. What is it? Pacific at 4 p.m. Eastern. And 3 p.m. Central.
Depends on which dimension.
I never thought that 3 hours would make such a difference.
2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, and 4 p.m. Pacific. No, 1 p.m. Pacific. Oh, I'm mixing up my numbers, people. Hello.
Am I beautiful?
Yes.
It helps. It does.
You like it. You like getting pampered.
I like the lip balm too, because my lips are chapped anyway.
Me too. But if you come to our booth, you can get a PTZOptics /HuddleCam's lip balm.
It's true.
I made emergency bags for everybody at Phoenix. They had lip gloss, hand sanitizer, Tic Tacs, and then we got some candy Band-Aids, and ibuprofen, meds.
I didn't see Tim this morning.
He was on the show.
For historical reasons, we kind of got squeezed out. Included something for the looks and Microsoft.
It's Tess Protesto's turn.
They're right here. I was hoping you were going to come back for
Thank you.
them.
Sorry about that. The old legacy codec, the
Shady. No, this is like a
we've
billion
now unrolled
colors
the
in it.
11th version of the codec.
So, I mean, like, you're definitely on the, like, lighter,
HDMI
brown,
and
dark
outperforms it
color
at the
range.
higher resolution formats. The beauty about the codec is it decodes in software on a PALM processor.
I'll get to it.
So we can run.
Oh, the next person.
No, I need to see if I can change my flight first.
Oh.
So the codec's doing well.
I would have to leave this like in the morning before wrapped. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. You travel with that. Oh, I don't have the mirrors on mine. What about the makeup? The makeup? I check it. I check it when I'm free. That nobody takes it and that it doesn't get broken. But that same palette. The yeah, the sun. Yeah, I like it. But yeah, so I check it and I pray that it doesn't get stolen, it doesn't get broken. But inevitably, something always does. It's fine. But it's impossible to fly with it all. And but what I do fly with, I always fly with my brushes because I figure that I can always. Yeah, I can always go out and get more makeup. For me, I feel like that's. I drop your
But have you heard the news recently? A patent
I'm Jared. I'm next year with WFX.
and put out a press release that they will now be charging for AV1 for the 3
Able to take basically your steel. I wouldn't really call it steel. I'd call it just probably just
Oh.
So with, I'm going to give you guys this question just to brief you on. What Tess and I have found nice is that if we can ask a question and then just go down the line, so you each get a chance to answer. So, what we maybe do is ping pong. So if, let's say Tom's on the left, and we say, Tom, answer this one, then it goes Tom, and Jared. Or if you're on the right, it should go Jared. Either way, just put it behind. Yeah, that's a good idea. We're going to try to speak up. Let Tom go on the far right, and then however else you have to do that. The first question is, help us understand the power of live streaming and the opportunity it brings to churches. Help us understand. Just one thing, whatever you'd like. And then I want to ask a little bit about donations, online donations. And that is a kind of a trick question, because the way I'd like to ask that question is that, a lot of churches, why are they live streaming? You think it's online donations, but that's not necessarily the top priority.
Scott fielding that really well.
Yeah, that's
to me.
So that's the way I like to structure that question. So it's like we're bringing it up, but we're actually kind of reflecting it and saying it's not the number one
two passions and my two preoccupations, the computer vision and the coding technology. And I think the use cases, the more use cases that actually can promote a social good and can improve the user experience rather than
so then the next is real world events. So there's a lot of churches bringing all levels of experience.
Not a bump, but I mean like a little bump. I like the lipstick.
Production platform.
The lipstick's very nice. We're gonna flatter it.
I mean, that's all Tom right there.
Well, no, everyone has to say something. So, presentation side, we can talk about wire cams.
That's going to go on.
Tom's going to cover VMix.
Just talk about something. And then the power of social, and then finally we're going to ask about social media. So what has social media done the past few years for churches? Not just with live streaming, but reaching shut-ins, new members, younger demographics.
You already know what I'm going to say.
So, you guys are prepped?
Yeah.
All right. Left to right.
I think the main two I would probably be the platform will advise. Obviously, the live streaming right up your alley. You basically gave a 30-minute one on why you.
Like for me, the online donations part is the big one. It's one of the things that whenever we have new resellers, that's one
Paul,
of the things that we
I have an idea. What I was thinking of taking this off it and tying it to one of the chair arms. To like take it off the backpack, tie it, and then pull it up so you can see the whole thing. So then we don't have to like hold it or the back. Because if you sit it just in the backpack, it's not going to sit right. So let me go set that up. Do you want me to take your ID?
Also,
I'm Jared, Paul, Tess.
Mike's not here, so I might need you to get the picture of everyone with the smartphone.
Yeah. Because I need to run back to the booth like a hot second.
I'm an industry leader in the world of big, complex video experiences, concerts, tours, live events, theatre and opera, and this is our first foray or our first push into broadcast. What this is a mixed reality studio environment. There's lots of augmented reality type technology out there with green screen, but this is full LED. You can actually see behind us. This is not projection, so as a presenter or a performer, you can see the world around you, get real-time lighting information on your face, and then if you look at the reference monitors, we're blended seamlessly into a CG world. We know that this is a big forum the biggest forum for broadcast, and it's so important for us to be here and show this exciting new technology.
All right, thank you so much, Tom Rockhill from the skies at the 2019 NAB show.
Thanks a lot.
So talk about what you guys are doing at the show and the crowds that you attract.
Oh, well, I am so excited because, as you know, NAB has changed the attitude towards who is doing the stories. I think that Flote has been going into the media because we believe that the future belongs to the young people. Everybody is doing slow motion and things like that. So you have to go with the technology. This is the kind of advancements in technology. You have a television picture that also can do film and cinema lighting. We have German engineering and very good prices.
It's time for Monorail Moments. What are you doing at the NAB show?
It's my first time coming from college, just dipping my toe into the big pond and seeing how it is. I especially like Magic. I went through there, had a great time, learned a lot. Definitely didn't have a whole lot under my belt going in, but came out with a lot more than I anticipated.
I do in-house hockey, in-house show jumping, rodeos, and then on the teaching side, I do live studio and control room work, and I'm in charge of post-production.
Wonderful. So what exactly are you looking for at the show?
Got to talk about 4K, got to talk about cameras, got to talk about switchers, got to talk about the whole package, right?
I'm really excited to be here to see what's late breaking in the industry. We're a vendor that supports the entire production, but I'm interested to see how content generation has changed and how video editing can change, because that's where we're coming quite a bit.
Let's talk about TagVS and what you do and what you're all about.
What we do is monitoring an IP multi-viewer. It's only IP, meaning we input IP, we process IP, and we output IP. In the old days, you were always speaking about, okay, how many inputs do you have and how many outputs you can see. It's no more relevant when you deal with the IP world. The IP world, it's how many do you need? And you just need to calculate how much off-the-shelf hardware you need to run it. As you can see here, everything, all the formats can live in the same multi-viewer at the same time. We recently opened an office in the United States and recruited Bill Apker to be the VP of Sales.
One of our partners now, Arista, was like, you need to go see the guys at TAG. And we got up there and started looking at the monitor, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. I've been doing this forever. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to see what we can do next.
I don't know if the camera can see it, but everything that you see here on the wall, it's running on small 4 dongles. Our software and all the wisdom we provide, it's on a small dongles. And this is actually a game changer in the industry. Today, when you are based your technology on off-the-shelf hardware, and you have just the software to run the off-the-shelf, so they get it, and they're starting to understand that the world has been changed in that aspect.
Abe Zerbib and Bill Apker of TagVS, thank you so much, and I wish you a really successful NAB show.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Good to see you.
Why Barbara Lang from Simpty is here. How you doing, Barbara?
I'm doing great. How are you, Ryan?
Doing excellent. So what's your story?
Well, this is my 10th NAB. Everybody likes to count how many. It's my 10th. And Simpty has been a part of NAB forever, way longer than, of course, I've been here. Simpty, after 103 years, we're still all about the art and science of storytelling, and we're among our peaks here, so it's great. And we're doubling down now. The board just approved a really heavy investment in a new strategic business plan. So Simpty is here for the long haul, and we're really excited about all the work we're doing in terms of the standards. Our education is really popping now, and so we're running on full steam. We get to meet all of our members who come from around the world. They come here to NAB. It's a great opportunity for us to do that, and it's crucially important for us. So strong NAB, that means great business for us.
Awesome. Have a great show. Barbara Lang, Simpty. So how many times have you gone to NAB?
Well, this is my first time ever. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm super excited to be here.
All right. So what excites you the most about these halls and what's going on in all of them?
Well, I really, from the moment we walked in and with the whole theme about telling your story, you know, as the head of in-house production at Volkswagen America Marketing, it's been really exciting to see the theme of storytelling really being embraced by everyone here, whether it's, you know, content producers coming together and talking about the way that they tell stories, or visiting the plethora of manufacturers and seeing what new wares, what new hardware they have available to tell those stories, to, you know, just even swapping stories with, you know, creators, young and old. And it's great that we're able in one spot visit everyone that touches every part of our production and see, you know, what they have going on, what's new in their future, and to then walk away thinking about not only what's new in the industry, what's coming up, but also take back how that can affect us.
Wow. Patrick Foe, Volkswagen, have a great show.
Great. Thank you very much.
So check out The Beat on NABshow.com. We're going to have new episodes every day. This hour sponsored by Roughly, the video news agency.
This is NAB Show Live.
Hello and welcome back. You are watching NAB Show Live, brought to you by Broadcast Beat. I'm Tess Protesto.
And I'm Paul Richards, and today we are so excited to be talking about House of Worship live streaming. I can't believe, if you've ever seen the Facebook Live map on a Sunday morning, the amount of churches and houses of worship bringing the message of God to the world is absolutely incredible. And we've put together a panel of experts to talk about what experts are talking about and also what new beginners should be thinking about. So we have Tom Sinclair, the CEO of Eastern Shore Broadcasting. We have Jared Harris from Easy Worship and Tim Colbeck from Mobile Video Devices to help us talk about some of the most pertinent issues with live streaming in the House of Worship space.
Absolutely. Well, what I want to start with today is how to understand the power of House of Worship live streaming, kind of where it stands, and maybe what we see for the future. Tom, we'll start with you.
Well, the power is absolutely amazing. I think this technology is divinely ordained and was not something that we invented, but something that we discovered, that was set out in front of us to accomplish the purpose of bringing a message to the lost, the sick, the brokenhearted, the ones that are stuck at home. And I think that's the power of this medium.
Yeah, and how technology has brought us there, certainly.
Absolutely.
What I see in the live streaming venue of spreading the message is the ability for the younger generation to take part in church that may not necessarily attend churches like the general, the older generations do. They're used to, the live streaming. They're used to doing the Snapchats and the Facebook and so forth. So for them, it's just a natural evolution to be able to partake in some of the church community without maybe being able to attend church, but maybe it's also a way to get them to come into the church.
And I really feel like the technology, the way that it's changing the church itself. I think the ability just to communicate on a much broader audience, to be able to reach people that
maybe homebound, maybe deployed out of country, overseas, things like that. I think to be able to stay engaged with your home church and for your home church to also spread the word, I think is really where the importance of that streaming media is.
So we were all at the WFX show in Orlando, Florida this year, the largest technology expo in the United States and I believe the world. And there were a lot of companies talking about digital donations and churches actually accepting donations online, which seems interesting, but I don't believe it's the number one primary reason why churches are live streaming. Tom, why don't we start with you? What is the primary reason you think churches, I mean, there's more than one obviously, but what are the ones that bubble to the top on why so many churches are live streaming?
Definitely it's go for the money. No doubt. It's go for the big bucks. No, I think that ought to be the last thing on the list. It is the response of the giver to give based on need, based on their response to what they've been given. And until they've been given something, there's not, I don't think, a prompting to give. So, let's put that one down on the list a little bit.
So, with that being said, after talking to many churches, I think at the top of the list is actually the ability to reach folks who maybe are members of the church who simply are traveling with their kids going to school, or perhaps they are shut in or they can't reach. They're homebound because they're in surgery, for example. They're just in recovery mode, and now larger members of their church can actually participate and be part of that. So I think that's really the primary reason. Is that what you're seeing out there?
You're talking to me? Yeah, I think so. And as somebody that's going through the aging process, and I'm looking off into the future, and I'm saying, one day I'm not going to be able to go to church. I'm going to miss out on a big part of my life. And to be able to sit at home, if I'm bedridden or whatever it might be, and be able to participate just by seeing what's going on, it's really going to bring a lot of comfort to me. Plus, there's going to be the message, but it's the community that I'm going to miss. And I think the live stream, it's not going to replace it, but it's going to help lessen the loss a little bit.
What do you think, Jared?
I'm going to actually follow that up a little bit and say that, traditionally people, when they think about church, it's either a Wednesday night or a Sunday morning. But there's so many other events, as we talked about at LiveView, that are occurring in the church that are throughout the week or throughout the evenings or Saturdays or, any other kind of event. And with live streaming, it gives them the ability to show that to the audience or to the community or to their members or anybody else at any time of the day, and they can go back and watch it at any time. So I think the live streaming really opens up the door more than just those 2 days a week.
To kind of follow up on that a little bit as well, with our church integrators, we see a lot of small churches, a lot of big churches really gathering attention when there's times of crisis where a pastor can very easily go on with vehicles like Facebook and YouTube, very quick little messages of faith. They can publish, wherever they want to kind of renew faith in their church members, but also in other people that may just come across these videos on YouTube. And from these videos, we do see smaller churches attracting people that maybe have moved across country, things like that. So as a chance to also grow your online presence, it also gives you a chance to increase your presence that comes and visits you every week.
Yeah, we touched on a little bit of the why houses of worships are looking into live streaming. Let's touch on the how. What types of technology are you seeing being used to implement these types of live streams, Jared? I'd love to hear from you with your streaming platform.
With live streaming or even a live presentation event, there's multiple aspects that can come into play. You've got inputs such as Magewell bringing in content from any kind of external device. You've got camera feeds that are coming from companies such as PTZOptics. But then you got to add content on top of that, such as lyrics or scriptures or any other content that you want to, add some enhancement to it. So I think that with that technology, you can start to really grow that presentation to output to other companies such as vMix that can then pass that on out to the global community via the internet.
Yeah, and easy worship is kind of a great way to do things like lyrics and have displayed content and presentations for some type of congregation.
Yeah, like I said, you bring in the camera feeds or any other content, we can add some context to it with some lower thirds or some text in regards to either the presenter or whatever's happening in that event. And then, like I said, pass it on to the next downstream system, which would be the streaming software.
Tom, I know you run your church's live stream, am I right? Or have you passed that duty on?
Nope, I run it.
And what are you using?
I love it. And I wish we were using your software to feed the lyrics in, because I know folks at home were like, oh man, I'd sing along, because nobody else is here and they wouldn't hear me sing. But I don't remember the words. And so, but the ability that you guys have to send it out NDI, which means I can pick it up over the network with no extra cabling and make it part of my vMix production to be live streamed. In this case, we're live streaming to Facebook Live. We archive to YouTube, but we're going to Facebook Live, and I think we're going to talk about some of that social media in just a second.
So I think from the hardware side of church streaming, I think we're really in an exciting time. The cost of cameras has come down significantly. The cost of production systems has also come down. It makes streaming very affordable for churches of any budget. For just a few $1,000s, you can go with a very high-quality PTZOptics camera, a Magwell dongle, into a laptop running vMix for a very professional streaming system on an entry level. We also have the scalability. We can do a 5-camera setup with a custom-made machine from Tom running a high-end version of vMix. We can add some of the easy worship presentation to have a really full production, full studio value, and we can still do that relatively affordable.
So I want to talk a little bit about social media. It's changed quite a bit over the past few years. I think it was only, 2 or 3 years ago when Facebook even started. And with that being said, there's a huge shift just across the whole culture, a communication shift in general. And I think churches are generally organizations that are a little bit slower to react than others. And I'd like to ask a little bit about the effect of social media, what churches are using it well. Do you have any tips on how social media can be a vehicle for success for churches?
I'll take that one first. Okay. Here's our plan. Every Sunday morning, we're telling folks before they mute their cell phone, and don't forget to mute your cell phone, take a moment and check in that you're at church. And people are going to wonder, what kind of church would have you as a member? So your friends are going to go and look up your church's site, your church's Facebook page, and well, wait, there's a live stream going on right now. I can look into their church and see what's going on. So suddenly this friend that, an announcement has popped up on their feed that you're in church, and now they get to look inside your church, and they get to be a little bit of a voyeur, but in a good sense, and see, is this a safe place that I might enjoy? Do I have a need that this church might fill? And I might even get an opportunity to hear a little bit of the message, and that message might resonate with where I am at this very moment. And so suddenly, just a simple act of checking in on your phone to Facebook has enabled one of your friends to have an experience or receive a word that they would not have otherwise been able to get. I think there's a lot of beauty just in that move. I mean, you can talk about what goes on beyond that, they might actually visit the church, or they might call the pastor, or other things might happen. But for that very moment, I mean, we're talking about, 5 minutes worth of time on a cell phone could have a life-changing effect. I really think that's true.
Wow, that is an amazing tip. How about you, Jerry?
I stole it from somebody else.
Facebook clearly has an enormous reach across the world to pull people in to follow along with the community or to spread the message of whatever they're trying to get across. But what I've noticed is on social media, people tend to let their social guard down a little bit and be a little bit more open. They start to interact with people a little more than they would in a personal situation. And so I think it gives that opportunity for people to partake in the community of their church or other churches and actually have a real conversation with people they may not have actually in person.
And I think Tom hits it really 100% on the head. With Facebook especially, we notice that the more members that check in, the more activity in general,
that is pushed towards that church. Aside from things like your regular Sunday services, maybe there's youth ministries, different events throughout the church. The more that those are streamed, the more that those are checked in, tagged, just really spreading that word really helps the church gain visibility online, which generates to the church gaining visibility in person as well. So from highlighting some of the activities, some of the fun things in the church, I think you can, really kind of grab some of the younger generation where, maybe they kind of think of it as, grandma and grandpa, that older part of church. Well, church is young and new and exciting, so let's make it part of our social life and make it part of our daily life.
Absolutely.
Going off of that with social media, I think it's interesting some of the opportunities that have arisen. Is that a proper term? I'm not quite sure. With online donations. So Facebook, for example, is a great opportunity to help nonprofits and houses of worship alike, if they're, registered as a 501c, that is, to go ahead and apply a donation button directly into their live stream. Have you guys seen that? Are you doing that?
No.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
That's on Facebook, and then on the YouTube side, YouTube and Google, who owns YouTube, also has another service called YouTube Super Chat for Good. And if you are a registered nonprofit for YouTube, you can also generate donations that way. I personally believe it is a great way to increase first-time donations, which are important for churches, because sometimes those first-time donations turn into recurring donations, which is the lifeblood of the church generally. Let me ask you guys about some real-world advice, because I know with churches there's those who are volunteers who are maybe still in high school or even younger, and then there are those who obviously have a lot of experience. For those who are the volunteers and those who are a little bit more unexperienced, give us some real-world advice for these folks who can help them kind of find their way and be successful.
Well, I think especially for a church that's just taking this on for the first time, and they're putting together volunteers to staff this event. I really think the temptation is to look at the technology first and get excited about the technology. But I think long term, they're best served by making sure that everybody else in the church is involved or at least aware of what's going on. I mean, people are down on what they're not up on. And the last thing you want to do is spend a lot of time and energy to introduce something into the church and then have church members become offended by it. I mean, you never know who's in a witness protection program and they're having their face on the screen. All of a sudden, it's going to put them in a dangerous situation. Can it happen? Not likely, but it only takes once to make it an absolute disaster. So to communicate to the church what's going on and get feedback, I knew one church that even, they put a little line across the middle of the sanctuary and said, if you're behind this line, you're not going to be on camera. If you're in front of it, you're going to be on camera. Other churches had put a little sign in the back of the church that you walk by that said, hey, this is being live streamed. We want you to know because it could impact you. So I think that kind of communication with the rest of the congregation, with the rest of the folks, to know what's going on is really, really important. It's one of the first things out of the box.
I think the key temptation for some churches that come to shows like this is they see all this great technology and all these cool things that are being done, and obviously they want to put those in place. But you really need to step back and think about what you're capable of for the size of church you are. You need to make sure that you put something in that's simple to use because, as you said, you're using volunteers. So you need to make sure that what you're looking for can be accomplished with a product that can be used by the people that you have available to take advantage of that product. But you also need to make sure they have a support system within the church when they have questions or when they need help because they are volunteers. And you also need to make sure that they're supported and that they understand their role within the church with that product or whatever that thing is that they're working on. Great.
I think that's 100% right. I think when we talk about the technology that's implemented in the church, I think we really need to be aware of who is doing the production, who's running the system. You'd be surprised how quick a 5-year-old can, download 3 mortgage payments worth of apps. So I think it's really important that we, focus on who's going to be doing the production. What are the capabilities of the staff that we have on hand? The technology, we can, at price points, we can go really high, really low end. really low end to really high end, and I think a really big part of it is finding the right partner. Someone like Tom that has a big background in the industry and can really work with you. You really need a trusted advisor. Unfortunately, I see a lot of churches that are oversold hardware that they ultimately don't utilize because, they're an A-level church and this is A-plus level gear. So I think really a good partner to help with your integration and then with your streaming goals, I think, is key.
Something that I think about, it's on my little list here, though, but we get asked a lot by customers who are using streaming for house of worship services as copyright issues with the music. Do any of you have any insight on that, on workarounds or licensing or way to achieve that, especially with displaying lyrics? Is there any issues with copyright infringement?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of the question.
I know that it's a little louder than
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, because of that.
I was just wondering, because we get asked a lot about copyright issues with house of worship music being streamed.
Yeah, there's actually companies out there such as CCLI Song Select that you can request to be a member of, and you pay your royalties to that, and they will cover the churches for whatever the songs or lyrics that they're using within their services.
Yeah, I've actually know a little bit about that because I wrote a book called Helping Your Church Live Stream, and I wanted to make sure there was a chapter on copyright because everyone asks. The CCLI allows you to have copyright for projecting lyrics, which many churches obviously do, actually singing the songs, and even a recording and streaming and podcasting license as well. One of the troubles that a lot of churches deal with is that Facebook and YouTube are still probably going to give you a copyright strike when they hear copyrighted music. So there's still some things in the streaming industry that are moving slower than we'd hope. But churches are really giving a great message out to the world. I can't believe every Sunday when I see how many, if you just look at facebook.com/livenap, and you'll just see all over the world, hundreds and hundreds, thousands.
That was kind of a shock factor for you.
I couldn't believe
how many customers are doing it. It's really interesting.
So we just have a few minutes left, and I wanted to ask you guys about some stories, some happy stories about churches that are really, because I think that sometimes when your church is thinking about live streaming, there's somebody in the church who's championing the idea. They're saying, I think this is going to be a great idea, but not everyone's really on the same page, and the communication might not yet be there. I know that I've talked to many churches, and I have some stories of my own, but I'd like to hear from you guys. Has there been a time when you've heard of someone, in a church in Coatesville that we work with, there was someone who was in surgery, and she couldn't make it to the church, but pastor who was her pastor when she was a child had flown in and was there for just that weekend, and she was still able to watch. So things of that nature I hear all the time. Are there any stories that you can share that's maybe a little bit moving?
Specific applications even.
Well, I always have a story.
We know.
I have a good friend, Alan, who is a member of a church up in Wisconsin. It's a small town, and they have been live streaming for, 6 or 7 years. In fact, it started with standard definition equipment, all secondhand equipment. And they have developed a wonderful online following. And in their particular Christian tradition, monthly communion is a big deal. And so what they've done is they've gone out and they've built communion kits that they send to all their online viewers. And so that when it comes time in the service to do that, those online viewers can participate with everybody else. And he said, the feedback from that has just been terrific. It has helped enrich and make those people feel a part of what's going on. It's not a single organization, a single individual with a single story, but it's sort of this outreach that the church does to make sure that online congregation feels welcome and included. And Al, if you're watching, good job.
What I always think is cool to hear is, in a church when there's a baptism, the family always wants to be part of it. They always want to be there to see it. They always want to experience that experience with them. But that may not be actually the case that could happen. There may be family that's across the country or another state or just couldn't make it to the event. But with technology such as NDI, you can have a camera or a phone that's just recording that content near the baptism, send it to a product like ourselves or straight to vMix, and that goes right to the web. So anybody can be part of that event and not miss anything in regards to it.
And I really feel like with the technology, we hear a lot of the feel-good stories for me are like the baptisms, the weddings, the things like that where, maybe it's grandparents because of their age, or it's, maybe someone's just on vacation. But it gives them the chance to, as an individual, be connected to their personal family, but then also their extended family in the church for things like baptisms, weddings. We hear a lot of people that have family that's overseas. So the people overseas, they're able to remain engaged in the church and help build an online congregation through the people that they're deployed with. So then we see these churches come back, and as these service men and women come back, instead of one person coming back to the church, families come back to the church. I think this the way that we can stay connected. I think that's the important part.
Yeah, I think there's so many amazing things happening online for churches, and I read Church Production magazine every month. I don't know if anyone else does, and I read stories about technology directors really taking pride on the fact that they're extending the church's message outside the barriers of their four walls. And I think that's really incredible. Tom, your story echoes that quite well, where they've kind of, 6 years into it. I feel like what happened for me, if I can give you just a little history, I think that like 4 or 5 years ago, churches were thinking, why should we live stream? We want people to come into the church. We don't want to stop people from coming in, so there was a fear. Then Facebook came out 2 years ago, so now we're getting a little closer to current day, and churches were having so much success that there was kind of a wave, and I don't know if you guys felt that wave, but now, today, in current time, it's hard to find a church that's not doing some type of video or streaming. Can you tell us a little bit about, maybe just give us a brief history of like where things have come? In the past few years, what's changed, what people are doing?
I'm drawing a blank on that one. I know that's hard to believe, but I'll pass.
For me, it's not necessarily going to be live streaming, but in church production as a general. It wasn't not too many years ago that it was just overhead projection with the old school, sheet of paper that was transparency sent to the screen so that the members could follow along with the hymnals or the scripture that was being presented by the pastor. And then from there, we went on to having text on projectors and video backgrounds, and now we're at full production, which is camera feeds that are being IMAG with lower thirds. So the technology that has changed has just been enormous in the last 15 years from what we saw in the early 2000s, and it continues to grow at such a fast pace because churches are starting to see what's capable of being done by shows like when you come to NAB, see that the capabilities that they're doing in these large networks can be brought into some of these venues at churches with solutions that may not be quite as expensive as what you see. Like you said, some that you offer, we offer, you offer. So I think the technology that churches have gained in the last 15 years has been insurmountable.
All right, thank you so much, guys, for participating in this with us. You have been watching NAB Show Live, brought to you by Broadcast Feed. Up next, sports streaming.
Stick around, guys. This is going to be a great show. We're so excited. The 2019 NAB Show here at the Las Vegas Convention Center. See you soon. Stick around.
Is NAB Show Live.
I'm Ryan Salazar, and today we have Martin Gates, Global Director of Product Development at Densitron. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well.
Thanks so much for being with us. So what factors prompted Densitron, traditionally a component manufacturer, to enter the broadcast?
Densitron, who are now part of the Equipment PLC group, were traditionally provided components, display solutions across various horizontal applications. The touchscreens, display solutions, high quality touchscreen and embedded platforms. And one of the vertical markets that these applications touch a number of factors. They coalesced to a board-level strategy, and a decision was made to fully go into the broadcast vertical. These factors include the size of the total addressable market, which is quite a large market for broadcast technology vendors, and we were looking at control and monitoring solutions, particularly as a segment. And we have the ability to leverage advanced single-board computing technology, which was gained from experience in the broadcast gaming market. And that's through the technology. And also, really, it's the quality of components that are associated with broadcast television, that really high quality, that Rolls-Royce quality that we want to go after. And then finally, there's emerging opportunities for the advanced and hybrid control surfaces of the future. And that's actually part of a more widespread global trend in the human-machine interface.
All right, so the interest in HMI is growing within the broadcast industry. So how is Densitron utilizing HMI to play in the market? What benefits does it give us?
HMI mixed text, the human-machine interface, is a well-established field at a very specific problems of science, human factors, engineering, and computer science. Densitron's been supplying display solutions for decades, and in recent years we started to develop HMI solutions, initially through the addition of haptics to our touchscreens to provide sensory feedback to operators and engineers. And as a solutions provider with a deep technology and supply side, we have access to a number of innovative developments associated with HMI, displays, and touchpads.
This hour is sponsored by Roughly, the video news agency.
This is NAB Show Live.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hello! Welcome back to NAB Show Live, brought to you by Broadcast Feed. I'm Tess Protesto.
And I'm Paul Richards, and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about live streaming high school sports, because high school sports have really taken off in the past few years. And we just interviewed broadcast clubs just yesterday, and we thought this would be a great follow-up session to talk to some experts in the field who know quite a bit about what high schools are doing today to help broadcast their athletic department programs.
Absolutely.
So we have Jim Bass from Broadfield Distribution, we have J.D. Fox from Presto Sports, and we have Jeff Sasagawa from Sling Studio. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, we could just do a brief introduction of you each, and then we'll continue.
Sure. My name is Jeff Sasagawa, Director of Products at Sling Studio. Sling Studio is the industry's first portable and all wireless switcher production unit to allow you to stream live sports as well as doing other live events.
J.D. Fox from Presto Sports. Everybody here knows this is Stretch Internet. We went through a rebranding this year, so re-education for everybody. But we are a CDN in the high school and college sports space in North America, U.S. and Canada, basically.
And I'm Jim Bass with Broadfield Distributing. We're a distributor for live production and live streaming products. And we have dealers all over the country that are selling to high school sports, college sports, minor league sports leagues all over the country.
So sports streaming is one of the most popular forms of live streaming, in my opinion, probably because it's just perfect for live. Everyone wants to see the goal, they want to see the video unraveling in front of their eyes, and everyone's kind of used to watching sports on professional television, but now some of the same quality is coming to high schools. I think it's just happening in the past few years. So tell us a little bit about the technology that high schools are using to produce school sports. We'll start with you, Jeff.
Sure. So many high schools are using our product and other products, but with Sling Studio, what we allow and what other products allow you is to have the instant replay. So you have that ESPN NFL experience or MLB experience, but it's also about multi-camera. It's about having cameras not only behind the plate or panning from above, but it's in center field and be able to have that MLB shot from the center field to the pitcher and to the catcher. It's also having the roving cameraman on the sidelines, being able to capture the athletes coming off the field, celebrating with their fellow athletes or during a timeout. And so also about the interaction. That's the one last thing I would say is it's not just like linear sports where you're watching it, listening to the commentators. It's about interacting with the fans. So if you're streaming on a service like a YouTube or Facebook, for example, the fans throughout the entire country and sometimes throughout the globe are interacting, and it's like a high school reunion. So it's a very unique experience in addition to the multi-camera experience that you get with these Sling Studios.
And really what we've seen in the last few years is with the technology advancements, NDI especially, and things in wireless technology like Sling Studio, what it's done is it's brought that price point down to where it's approachable for a high school to do it. And it's not just a single camera panning back and forth on a basketball court. You can get multi-camera and you can get it portably and be able to show all of those angles that you expect from a professional broadcast, even at the high school level.
And we see with our deal is that the interest in these sports programs have taken this technology out from the fields into the classrooms and multimedia labs and other areas of the school as well. So you can take a Sling Studio application or a PTZ camera and have that now become the case study that's being used all over the building, and which creates a much larger install.
That kind of leads to my next question. How has the technology changed recently? I mean, has it been over a long period of time? But it seems like things are a little bit more portable now, so you don't have to have a set streaming system in each application. Is that something that you can speak to?
Yeah, so a lot of our customers we've seen, they used to bring out a production truck to the baseball game or to the football game or some other basketball game, and it was a large crew, a large ordeal. But with the portability of products like ours, Sling Studio and others, you can just carry in a backpack the whole studio equipment with your cameras. You don't have to drive a truck out to the venue, and you can just set it up within 5 minutes because it's all wireless. There's no cables involved, and the crew doesn't have to drive the truck back to the studio. They can just go home because there's no truck, and all the content, all the storage is in one device. So it really has changed. It's not just about the form factor, it's about the portability and being able to have it a wireless, easy setup.
The one thing we may forget about is the networks at these schools. It took a while for that infrastructure, especially in the public sector and the public high school space, to get to where they had ease of use with internet at their athletic venues. So that was kind of the foot in the door to start everything, is we had to get that up, and now that those schools are very connected, now you've got a chance in a setting, like if you're using NDI and you've got networked classrooms, you can have a presentation from one classroom, you can have a presentation from another classroom and show it in the auditorium. So what that's led to, back in my day it was the newspaper, but now there's the opportunity for these students to learn about video production, and it's exciting. It's what they see in their everyday life. So that's been the big change, is just getting those high schools connected, really.
And I would agree with that completely. Jeff, I think one of the reasons your system fits into a backpack is because the camera link is wireless, and you don't have to roll 300 feet of SDI cable to cover a football field. Now you add new PTZOptics technology that you were referring to, and the robust networks being installed in these schools. Paul and I just went about a month ago to visit a high school in the Bronx, New York, and they're streaming from their basketball court to a control system on 3 stories above, where a student is at the control station actually producing their stream. So it's pretty amazing how that technology has really come a long way.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Jim, because one of my next questions was about the students. I feel like all of this technology making it into high schools is not just for the parents at home, although they do benefit, and I think it's not only is it great for the athletes, right, where some of them are getting scholarships, getting introductions to scouts, and we heard some stories about that. Not only is it great for the parents at home, but I really think that it's great that the students can benefit from learning about how to use the technology, to your point, JD. Maybe I'll go back to you for this one, Jim, because we got to see it firsthand in the Bronx, New York at the SAR High School. It's really about the kids sometimes, right? Can you tell us about what we saw with the student operators and the experience that some of these students are having operating the cameras and the different gear?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. The school we went to has a video club where the student was controlling the camera on the basketball court. They had other students commentating the game, and of course the athletes on the floor. So now you have 3 different groups of very different students in the school developing life skills. As the marketing person for Broadfield Distributing, I wanted to hire some of those kids on the spot to do our own productions. So it really is a great school activity to really involve everyone.
Yeah, and really when you think about it, 10 years ago, if it was a high school sports production, it was a local production company doing it. And now it's in the hands of students. So then that's bleeding up as well. So we have smaller colleges that may go to a smaller college that's maybe doing very simple streaming, but they get all this experience from high school and they up the level of production the next place they go. They decide they want to continue to do that, and now they're in our industry. Yeah. So it's really a building block approach that used to start at the college level that's really bleeding down to high school level.
Yeah, I agree. Having the students be able to be the camera operator, to be the switcher, the director, is exciting for them. It's a lot of fun. It's more engaging. But I would say it's also with Sling Studio, we've watched these kids not only cover the games, but for recruiting, as you mentioned, for the most part, parents are in the stands with an iPad recording and trying to do it for recruiting videos. But with Sling Studio, you can not only get that pan shot, but you get close-up shots, end zone shots, roving, and that now the recruiting videos that people use with Sling Studio are close up or on one athlete or a team, but it's the right view as opposed to a parent in the stands on the that's several hundred feet away. So it's really enabling recruiting as well as better footage. And then I would say even for the social media, allowing high schools to monetize their live games and have different views and different perspectives.
Yeah, and I wonder if those same students that are streaming the morning announcements and school broadcasting are also doing the sports.
Yeah, we find the two groups that are covering it. If the school has a broadcasting class, a videographer class, they are the same group that's covering the high school sports, the talent shows, and they're offsetting the community TV stations that have to choose between one of the 10 schools to cover. So it's not just the broadcasting class covering one sport. Because our product is so portable, they are now covering not just football and baseball, but water polo, diving, swimming, all these other sports because it's so easy to set up.
And I can imagine that the same opportunity that having this on-demand content or live content for sporting athletes to get scholarships maybe, the same opportunity is being presented for these students that are looking into going into broadcasting. I wish I was able to put that on my resume before college. I mean, that would have been amazing.
Exactly.
I think really we're seeing high school students create reels of their work and submit it to their journalism program, which sounds crazy. I mean, before you looked at their GPA and they want to study journalism, great. But now you actually have some competition at some of these journalism schools because of that.
So I know we talked about sports, but I want to ask about esports. sports just a little bit. One question here. We'll get back to regular high school sports because I think that a lot of that is important. But how is esports changing the game? Because it is something, we actually had a panel on it yesterday. We dug into real deep into the topic. But have you seen, is that reaching into the high schools? Because it seems like a lot of students are playing these video games and now they're getting the opportunity to compete at a national level. Have you guys, can anyone give us a little bit of insight? Maybe Jim, we can start with you on the esports side of things.
So some of the feedback we get from our dealers is that esports is still a very competitive field. And because it's based on competition, they're getting a lot of the production inspiration from watching ESPN and other sports coverage. So they're duplicating the instant replay, the zoom in, the commentator, the color commentary. If you watch Overwatch League, the coverage is no different than any other competitive sporting event that you see the exact same way.
And that's why you see at the college level, it's the athletic departments that are leading the charge. They have the esports team and they treat it as an athletic team. So that's bled down to high school because that's a great scholarship opportunity for them. So, and really they're learning the technology early on because when you're an early adopter, when you're starting early on being an esports streamer, you're doing everything yourself, you're learning everything yourself, and you're playing the game at the same time. So technology obviously has improved, and there's all sorts of macros you can do and everything to do that, but you're learning the technology while you're playing the game, and that's an important part to speak on as well.
Yeah, we're seeing two levels for esports. Obviously, it's pro and it's college level. We're covering college teams playing against each other and a few high schools, and so it's about really multi-camera because you need to have cameras not only on the commentators, because they're commentators, and you need to have cameras on each team or team members, and then the audience, and then bring in the graphics of the game. So it's a really very sophisticated production, and we're seeing at the high school level. We're also seeing teams doing esports and practicing. We have a few new coaching features that allow not just baseball and basketball and volleyball, use it for real-time analysis. Now I have esport teams with the coaches watching the players and taking advantage of multi-screen, frame-by-frame scrub in slow motion, and the coaches are giving feedback to the players on every single move, not just the graphics of the game, but also the hand movements. So it's getting down to as sophisticated as football or any of the major sports.
I can't believe that there's scholarship opportunities. I mean, I guess I'm living in a hole. So there are actual scholarship opportunities and collegiate level teams.
Yep.
So I'm going to go back to athletic department directors, if that's okay. So athletic departments have a responsibility to support athletes. That's their job, right? And an athletic department director may have 10, 12, 20 teams that they're responsible for. Jim, we met with one of them, and I think the biggest takeaway from the SAR high school that we were at was that the athletic directors are taking the video footage and looking back at it and helping the athletes improve. And I think that was one of my biggest takeaways. Are the athletic directors, they seem to be really happy with the ability to record these sporting events. What was your takeaway from some of the athletic directors? I'm sure you've all worked with them. What are they thinking about live streaming and getting that video and helping their teams become more competitive?
Well, I think like a lot of fields, one of the biggest things in sports is analytics. And when you have video to analyze how the players are playing, how the game developed, how can we become a better team, then obviously that's a huge resource. So to lead that charge and be able to go over the video with the team, with the coaches, and with other departments, it just builds for a better program and a better community supporting that program, which is critical in schools. As funding gets cut, as everything gets cut, the booster programs become more and more important. So the more you can involve the community, the stronger the program itself becomes.
Really, we think about, at this show, you want to have multi-camera because it's that professional look that we're all used to when we're watching sports on TV. But that same holds true for the coaches, is they get those additional angles as well, and that's important. What we see often driving it with our customers is they start streaming and it's a one camera shoot maybe, and then the next year they want to do a 2-camera shoot because the coach is like, oh, can I get this too? Can I see this while it's happening? Can I see the scoreboard while the game's going on? Things like that, and then it just progresses from there. And really, it's to help the broadcast, but it's also to help the coaches and the student athletes.
I'm interested what you guys think about the future of this, secondary education, streaming, sports. Is there any trends that you're seeing? Is there anything you've seen at NAB or any technology you and your organizations are opening up soon that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I would say it's adding analytics, right? And all these teams, not just Division I teams, but high schools, are bringing analytics into the game. And so into the practicing, into the game analysis. And so you need to be able to do that, and what Sling Studio allows you to do is not only bring in the analytics, but multi-camera that's in sync with the analytics, and we have a new feature that allows you to do real-time coaching, as well as you can be streaming the game and doing that independent with one solution. So I would say that's number one. And I would say, the other thing that's really pushing the envelope is two-way and remote coaching. It sounds kind of funny, but when you're a coach and you cannot travel all the time, or your assistant coaches cannot travel, you want to be able to view the game and be able to do remote coaching, because you want to be able to have the analytics or the video and then give feedback. And so with some of our new features, we allow this notion of remote coaching.
This might be the longest this has taken to come up all day, but I'll say social media. So one of the key things in sports is highlights. And what we're seeing is a push to make that happen faster and faster and faster. And we're actually seeing automated AI-based highlights coming out of these great productions, and being able to tag, hey, it's the replay, we actually want this, and getting it out to social media in 15 seconds or less. I mean, there's some really cool things happening with that.
And I think along with those highlights too, when the high schools and smaller leagues have good broadcast quality footage that they're using to produce their own sporting events, when you get the high school kid that sings a shot from the other side of the court, and that runs on ESPN and news that same evening in broadcast quality, it allows you to elevate your own program and get that highlight out there to share with everyone. So that viral aspect is pushed not only through social media, but through traditional broadcast channels as well.
So I'm wondering if you guys have had an aha moment with a coach or an athletic director where it was the point where they realized, wow, this is really helping the school, really helping the students. I know for me personally, when I was talking with some of the schools as we were preparing for the book that I just released, the Accelerated Broadcast Club curriculum, a lot of the broadcast clubs are having the students run the streams. And I could not believe how many stories I heard about athletes calling up the broadcast club and thanking them because they got them a scholarship. And that's one of the ones for me where, wow, these kids who are broadcasting the streams for the athletes, their friends are calling them and saying, you helped me get into college. You helped me get to the scout. And in a lot of instances with live streaming being so new, the broadcast club generally can't actually live stream every game. Right? There's 6 sports teams, 12 sports teams. They're going on the road. They're doing this and that. So they're trying to increase their capabilities and do more. And I'm just wondering, if you guys have had some aha moments where the coach is just so excited, the students excited, because some of this stuff is really exciting at the high school level as students are getting ready to graduate and go to college.
I can share a really cool story along those lines. So we deal with the dealers who are selling the products and installing some of these production systems. And one of our dealers was sharing a story where they were working with an NFL stadium. And as they were installing this huge broadcast system, one of the technical directors went to a local school and saw students running around the bleachers taking reaction video from the fans in the bleachers. And they decided that they wanted to produce that in the stadium and feed it live to the Jumbotron during downtime of the game. And that came from watching a local community event for one of his kids' sports.
Wow.
And changed the whole direction of how this install went, because now they had to add that live production to the Jumbotron with a different aspect of being able to feed right from the stadium floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think one of the benefits that everyone I've ever talked to in the athletic director space at high school that gets into live streaming sees is that they're broadening the reach of the potential recruiting for their student athletes. So in the past, especially if you're playing at a really small school, you have a geographic region where the coaches may know your coach or something like that. But now with these live stream, obviously it's live stream, but VOD and being able to create highlight reels and stuff, it really increases the recruiting radius for these student athletes and really gives them more opportunities than they've ever had.
I would say the two aha moments for myself would be, one, because our Sling Studio is wireless and portable, it takes a few minutes to set up. So when I go to schools and visit them using the product, they're covering not just football and the major sports, but then they're covering wrestling or field hockey or water polo or swimming. And the students are so excited, and so are the parents, because now for the first time, the parents and the grandparents can watch video of their kids for these sports that normally don't get the attention, but because it's so easy to set up, they're able to cover the sport. So that's number one. And the other one is monetization. I have high schools throughout the country that are taking advantage of the live streaming, and they're using the graphics and all the other features that we have, and they're making thousands of dollars per game through sponsorships. Wow. They're making their annual fundraising for the entire sports program with a couple of football games and a couple other games.
Wow. So when you're talking about monetization, you're talking about ad opportunities, yes, along with maybe private streams?
It's a combination of both, but I would say mostly it's ads and just graphics.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I don't know if anyone else is willing to mention, but I was very much surprised. There's a school called the Palmetto Tigers. They're one of the top 10 high schools in the country, and that's how they fund all of their broadcasting equipment. It ends up giving sponsors a very interesting venue for localized content, because a lot of local businesses are really trying to reach out to the parents and possibly the students, but generally the parents and the faculty at these high schools in a localized session. There's really no other, it's a brand new opportunity for local businesses to reach these types of audiences. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Jeff, because that's really an interesting topic.
Yeah, we see on our streaming platform side, a lot of our high schools are doing the pay-per-view. So there's obviously opportunities to create revenue there, but having things like pre-roll available to them and ad space, the basic leaderboard ads below a video player, they can really turn into dollars for these high school programs. And then what they like to do is take that money, invest it back into equipment, better broadcast, more controls that they can have, and move forward from there.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. This has been such a great conversation.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. You've been watching the official NAB show live, brought to you by Broadcast Beat. It's been such a fun broadcast talking about how high schools are live streaming sports, creating opportunities for athletes, for students, for broadcast clubs, and it's all brought to you here at NAB Show Live. Thank you for watching.
This hour is sponsored by Roughly, the video musicians.
This is NAB Show Live.
I'm Ryan Salazar, and today we're talking about Repack with Bruce Swale, CEO at Gates Air. How you doing, Bruce?
Very well, thanks, Ryan. Good to meet you.
It's good to be with you and good to chat. We love talking about technology and different changes in our industry, especially leading into NAB show. The 2019 NAB show is going to be quite exciting. So with Repack moving quickly towards phase 3, what concerns are on the top of mind of broadcasters moving into new channels, and how is BTO addressing this?
Well, there's a lot going on, as you well know. We've been very busy here.
Want a picture with Jude?
100 transmitters and in excess of 6 trillion watts of transmission power for the Repack.
Are you just getting a picture, or is Paul getting in there?
Why would he get Justin there? We're producing transmitters at 3 times our normal run rate.
Favorite makeup artist? Heck yeah.
It's taken an enormous amount of planning.
There you go. Paul? Hey, Paul, you want to get in? Get in here. Because she did so well. There you go.
The lighting's okay there, right?
Yeah, it was perfect. I don't feel like mounting this again. So.
You do it, or what?
Sure.
Greater than normal inventory.
Who's the hair?
Thanks.
I'm really proud of the team here to keep there.
I'm just gonna nod it, I think.
Yeah, just nod it. We'll just do it that way for now. We'll fix it at the booth. You should see the view. It was actually a clear shot where you could actually see everybody. I was so good at this. Oh, Paul. Hey, Paul, do you want to end the stream here?
Well, we have. You can do it with your phone. You gotta do it on Easy Live to do that.
Do you want to end the stream here?
Thank you, everybody, for watching. It was so much fun. And we're gonna end the stream now. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Is it Go Easy Live?